Hey there, guys, and welcome back to the Travis and Damian podcast, episode 140. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and more. Today, we are talking about Summer Games Fest, Xbox Games Showcase, the Nintendo Direct, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 update, Star Wars The Acolyte, and more. But as usual, we'll start with our recent activities. I think, Damian, you've been going first a lot, so I will go first, and I will make it quick because we got a lot of shit to talk about. So Sly 1 came out on PlayStation 5 for premium PlayStation Plus subscribers. And also, if you don't have that, like me, you could just purchase it for $10. So I did that. And this is my first time ever purchasing like a retro game on like, I guess like their marketplace or whatever. So it was kind of interesting because they have a lot of like emulation elements in there where you can like rewind the game. You could mess around with the controls. There's like different filters you could put on there. I literally just started playing with those settings today because, to be honest, I was kind of just like playing the game. I was using the rewind mechanic a lot just because it's been, I would say, more than 5 years since I've actually replayed Sly 1. And just for context, anyone that doesn't know, I fucking love Sly Cooper. So replaying this game definitely brought back a lot of memories when I was younger, and I also forgot a lot of like where the clue bottles were, so it was kind of like me replaying it for like the first time in a while, obviously. So it was a lot of fun. I think that if you want to play this game for like the first time ever, play it on the PS4/PS5 for $10. You really can't go wrong with that. And the fact that the emulation elements are there, it makes the experience a lot more forgiving. Like if you miss a jump or if you get hit by something, you can rewind it real quick and like redo it again. So, I've definitely been abusing that mechanic more times than I really should be. But yeah, definitely a lot of fun, getting a lot of memories back. And I think it is still like a really solid platformer that really takes inspiration from like that Crash Bandicoot era of platformers.
Yeah, I bought it as well. I haven't played it yet. I just bought it just to be like, make another one.
Yes,
so,
please.
So I bought it. I rated 5 stars on the PlayStation Store because I'm like, yeah. They also put Daxter. You could get Daxter now. That came out like a few days ago. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, I'm happy to actually putting stuff that's like people want. Like, I really like Jack is already all there. I hope they put the rest of the Sly games on there, and of course Ratchet, God of Wars as well. Like bring in the big hitters. I feel like their classic catalog has been really lacking on like big heavy hitter Sony games from the back in the day. So I'm hoping to start adding them to the service. Like I know you could stream them, like the PS3 versions, but again, you have to stream it and you have to pay like $175 a year to like do it, which is like just not worth it. So I really hope to start adding these native PS2 emulator, to the PS5 and PS4 versions of the store. So because I bought them, I will buy all of them. So yeah, keep putting them, please.
I definitely want to play Daxter again because I was on the PSP. So the fact that now it's on a nice big, console screen, definitely something that I want to check out. Then obviously I always watch movies because I am part of the AMC A-list. So I watched Bad Boys, Ride or Die. I've never watched a Bad Boys movie, and I think this might be my first Will Smith movie, which is crazy to say.
What? Really?
Yes, I have not watched Men in Black. I didn't watch the previous Bad Boys movies. I don't really watch a lot of things that Will Smith is in. So This was like my first experience with that. I mean, honestly, it was a lot of fun. The directing is like top tier, like top notch shit. Like if you were on Twitter like a few weeks ago, you saw like that behind the scenes clip with Will Smith operating that camera, doing like that POV shot. I saw that like in theaters in IMAX, and I was like, yeah, no, this is like fucking amazing, legit cinema. The story is like whatever, it's sort of just like, stuff happens. There's like a sort of controversy going on between his old boss who's now dead and all this other stuff that's going on, and then they become wanted fugitives, and then they got to like clear sort of everything their own way. And it's just a fun action movie. You really don't need to know anything because I didn't know anything going into it. I feel like that they do a pretty good job of catching all the viewers up to speed in terms of like what the other 3 Bad Boys movies sort of had to offer story-wise. It's just a fun action movie with like gunshots, action sequences, all this other stuff, and it has a lot of style. And then I saw Inside Out 2. This is obviously Disney and Pixar's newest sort of movie. The AI art that we've been seeing over the years has like messed with my brain in terms of like the human characters, because every single time I see some of them, I'm like, ah, shit. Like all I can think about, is like this stupid like AI stuff. But back to like the actual movie, I think that for Pixar sequels, I feel like as of late, they've been like really just like forcing them in or whatever, and they just like don't really make that much sense. I walked out of this one and I was like, I think that was good because I wasn't 100% sure because of like the whole fatigue recently. And then I saw other people talking about it, and then they were like, yeah, like this is like a really good like, you know, Pixar movie. And I kind of felt validated because I was like, I feel like they show the new emotions really, really well. Like I think anxiety is like one of like the big hitters played by Maya Hawke. She's like a standout character within it. And I feel like that they portray that emotion, that feeling very, very well. It sort of does play into like the same beats that the first Inside Out did with Joy and everything like that. But I feel like with the new characters and sort of like Riley aging up and sort of like what she's going through within her story, I think it all makes sense. And I think that it was still like a really great movie to watch and, you know, definitely worth seeing. I saw it on like a Monday night and it was like a fucking packed theater. I was like, it's fucking Monday, Jesus Christ. But you know, it's a Disney Pixar movie, you know, everyone's gonna try to see it. So but yeah, Inside Out 2, definitely recommend checking it out, especially if you like the first one. But yeah, and then I've rewatched.
Rest in peace, Bing Bong.
Yes, Bing Bong, bro. He was my favorite character, unironically. And then I rewatched Arcane because my girlfriend, she's now like a fucking League of Legends monster. So now she was like,
worst addict.
Yes. Yeah. Now she wants to play League of Legends all the goddamn time. But on top of that, she was like, let me finally watch Arcane. So I streamed it for her on Discord because she doesn't have a Netflix subscription. I just keep dogging on it right now. But anyways, you know, we watched Arcane and obviously this is our first time watching it. And, you know, I forgot a lot of the shit that happened. So Damian, I definitely recommend rewatching it again before.
I want to rewatch it, yeah.
Yeah, before season 2 comes out, because a lot of like the little things I forgot what happened. You know, like obviously like the big plot points. I'm not going to spoil anything, but you know, like the big plot points that happen like towards the end and sort of like in the middle of the story. I still remember those, but like the little things, just sort of like how these characters end up here and whatnot. But yeah, Arcane is still like beautiful. It's amazing. It tells a great story. Even if you know nothing about League of Legends, watch the show. Whatever you do afterwards, do not play League of Legends. Just watch the show. That's all I can really say.
Yeah, my brother like loves Arcane, and he knew nothing about League of Legends. Like he knows nothing, but he still loved it all the same. You know, it really just speaks to how good of a show it is that you don't really need any knowledge of the characters or whatever. And even then, even as someone who doesn't play League, he still knows some of the characters just because of how like popular League is and those characters are. So you probably will be at least some familiarity with like some of the characters and setting. But you know, you don't need to know any of that. The show is still great by itself. It's just a great action fantasy show. Like go watch it. It's great. So yeah.
And then last thing I saw was The Boys. The Boys season 4 is currently going. I watched the newest episode 4 yesterday. And they premiered it with 3 episodes, and those 3 episodes were great, fantastic, sort of building everything up in terms of like where these characters are. I'm not exactly sure how much time has passed in between these seasons, but you know, when episode 1 started, I was like, all right, what the fuck's happening? Because like a lot of shit's going on, but like I don't know what's going on. But by the end of episode 3, everything's making sense, sort of like what these characters' motives are, sort of what their story arcs are. Some characters have a little more clear stuff happening than others. You know, I feel like people that are mad that Frenchie's like bi or gay is like, you know, fucking whatever. You know, I feel like that was not necessarily like a natural progression for his character, but I could see where they were going with that direction. You know, obviously I'm not against it, but you know, to those people that are upset, like grow the fuck up. And to those people that are conservative and like being pissed off that like the show's making fun of them, the show's been making fun of you since like episode 1. I feel like with this season, they're just going all in with it. And it's just so fucking funny because there was like one random ass line. They were at some convention, and then some like announcer dude said like, and then next we're gonna have the Alex Jones lookalike competition. I was like, God fucking damn it. Like, you know, like the writers don't give a fuck. Like they just go with whatever sort of narratives and storylines that they want to go with that is appropriate for the show. And obviously there's a lot of things that connect with like sort of like what's going on within the mainstream media in terms of like all of like the political controversies that also apply here. I can't name them on the top of my head, but when it's going on within the show, I'm like, oh, okay, like this is talking about sort of like the sex ed stuff that's going on within schools right now. You know, like some schools are like, we shouldn't teach that stuff or whatever the hell's going on. So yeah, a lot of show covers that stuff in like a in like a parody way. So I think that is like pretty fun in and of itself. But yeah, The Voice season 4 is like very, very good. I mean, if you haven't watched the show yet, Damian, definitely get on it because
yeah, I really need to get on that.
Especially because next season they have now confirmed that it will be the last, and I think a lot of people were concerned when they were like, we might go beyond the 5 seasons. And I was like, please don't, because I feel like whatever story you have planned, just stick with it, and obviously make changes where it is appropriate. But I feel like with this show in particular, it's only been going up or staying stagnant, and for sure that's been going as long as it has. That's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really need to watch it. That Invincible, I really need to get on that at this point.
Yeah, I stopped watching Invincible season 2, but I liked it so far. Obviously, season 1 was like a banger back to back.
Yeah,
I digress.
All right, so I don't have too much, but I do. I was still playing Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door. I'm almost done with it. I'm on like chapter 6 now. I think there's 7 chapters, so almost done with the game. Everything I said last podcast still applies. It's fantastic. The writing is great. Combat's great. The game looks great. Everything about Thousand Year Door, people are right. The game is a banger. I only played the original Paper Mario and some of Super Paper Mario. So playing this game, I'm like, oh yeah, it's really good. It's probably tied right now with Bowser's Inside Story, which is like my favorite Mario RPG. But again, I need to beat it first and see how I feel afterward. But yeah, it's great. And, we're going to talk about more in the Nintendo Direct segment of this, but I'm just happy Mario RPGs are back. Like, it feels really good to have good Mario RPGs back again. And I just hope Paper Mario gets a proper sequel now. Again, I know people like, Origami King and Color Splash and stuff, but, I really prefer having the RPG elements. If you're going to have turn-based combat, make it a proper turn-based battle system. Don't do like the weird ring thing Origami King has, or obviously the stickers and whatever the shit Color Splash had, which was basically just Sticker Star 2. I just feel like it just doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. If they wanted those games to work, they should have made them more action combat and just forget about the whole turn-based system at that point. But either way, Thousand Year Door is really good. I'm really enjoying my time with it a lot. It's pretty lengthy too. I'm like 23 hours into the game. Like, it's gonna be like a 30-ish hour game, so like it's like a full ass RPG. Like, I remember when I played the Super Mario RPG remake, I forgot how short that game was. It was only like 10 hours, which for an RPG is very short. So no, this game is definitely has some meat on its bones, and it's great. I've been loving it. So hopefully next podcast I can actually probably talk about it being done and stuff, so I can get my final thoughts on it. And last, I have Destiny 2, the final shape. So I got like peer pressure to playing this because I feel like everyone was talking about this. And for some reason, I've played every Destiny 2 expansion for some reason. I don't know why, but I have. And I think the only one I didn't play was Witch Queen. That was the only one I didn't play, which was a good one. But I don't know. I was playing something else, I guess. But with final shape, I was kind of waiting to see like how people were like talking about it, and apparently it's the best fucking thing ever. My brother loved it. Like IGN gave it like a 9. It has like one of the higher things on Metacritic right now. I'm like, what the fuck? So I've been playing it, and yeah, it's really good. I also wanted to finish it before the podcast, but a lot of things were happening, so I wasn't able to. But yeah, it's great. Like, I think the story has been pretty cool. They brought back some characters that haven't been around in a while. Obviously, a spoiler. I don't know if it's spoilers because they kept advertising it, but I'm going to say it anyway. They brought back a lot of characters that people really liked into this expansion. The Witness is a pretty cool villain. He does have the problem where he's just like, I am big evil bad guy, and like that's about it. But he looks cool, so that's all that matters. The mission design is actually really good in the campaign so far. And some of the other campaign missions was just like standard run and gun, kill some guys, which is fine. Destiny 2 gunplay is like one of the best like in the industry. But I think this campaign, they definitely focus on having a more like sort of raid mechanics in the campaign. So you're not just shooting guys the whole time. Like maybe I take a break, do a little puzzle. Some encounters feel more like raid bosses, so you have to do something to make it weak or whatever, and it just keeps the campaign more engaging, and I really appreciate that. It's fun to shoot guys, but it's also fun to have like a proper structured campaign like this. Also, it doesn't really waste your time like the other campaigns. It does it a little bit in the middle, but every other Destiny 2 campaign had a section where it's like, okay, go to the open world, do some bullshit that doesn't really matter, then come back to the main campaign missions. This campaign is way more structured, like an actual campaign, like a Halo campaign. So just do mission after mission after mission, and then there's a little break in the middle, and then it goes back to doing mission. So I think the pace of it was really good as well. The new subclass, Prismatic, is really fun. You could basically combine every subclass into one subclass, so you could basically do like a build-up subclass. I haven't really seen any builds or whatever yet, but I am interested to see like what a warlock could do when it's like fully realized. Like, oh, you could have like stasis bombs and like a solar super or whatever, and it's pretty cool. A lot of cool build stuff you could do there. I heard the actual open map in this expansion is huge, and there's like a ton of things to do in the post game. So yeah, Bungie really nailed it. I think they really had to because Lightfall. I really enjoyed Lightfall last year, but a lot of people didn't really enjoyed it afterwards. Like, after the launch came out, people were kind of down on it. Bungie had all the layoffs and a bunch of other shit. They have a lot of beef with Sony right now. So a lot of people were really down on Bungie, and I felt like Final Shape was a great opportunity to show like, okay, we gotta finish this game strong, and they did. So I'm really happy for all the Destiny 2 enjoyers. I'm a very casual Destiny 2 liker, so and I've been enjoying it. So I'm really happy that when a thing ends well, because it's always bad when you love something and then it ends like shit, right? So I'm happy Destiny 2 players get to have a really nice sort of end right here. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
All right, so now we will get into the news, which is pretty much Summer Games Fest, and then 2 news articles, then Xbox Game Showcase, and then the Nintendo Direct. So first, Summer Games Fest. This was pretty much going to kick off everything for this year's fake E3, if you will. And it was definitely, I guess, general thoughts on the presentation itself is definitely one of Jeff Keighley's worst sort of showcases. I feel like a lot of people were really upset with how sort of the announcements were played out and sort of what was shown off. For the length of the show, I think it was like an hour, maybe even 2 hours. And like,
it was 2 hours, right?
Yeah. And obviously they showed a lot of games, but I feel like the games that were present weren't as exciting as stuff that was found at the Game Awards or even the previous Summer Game Showcase or anything like that, So, there were definitely some things that had people excited for, like, Dragon Ball, Sonic Generations, all this other stuff. But, sort of like the big bangers, sort of like something that stuck out within this Summer Games Fest, especially now we're like over a week out since it happened. It's like, nothing really stuck out.
Yeah, when we're going into this like not E3 season, I didn't know how to feel because I felt like we knew about a lot of the games coming out next year. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna be that surprised or that excited about this year's summer season of games or whatever. And, this showcase kind of cemented that feeling a bit. I'm like, okay, maybe they really don't have a whole lot to show. But the Xbox and Nintendo showcases were fucking great. So it wasn't just the Summer Game Fest that wasn't that great. And honestly, Summer Game Fest has been kind of not great in general. Like Game Awards, I think he's done a great job getting some really hype trailers and stuff. And they've been great. Like I think the last 2 Game Awards, like in terms of game announcements, I know there's the whole controversy about the actual rewards, but the showcases themselves actually are really good. Summer Game Fest usually does feel like they just get the scraps or whatever of the companies that don't want to like do their own presentation. So and this wasn't any different. It was just kind of okay.
Yeah, definitely nothing really stuck out, but I will let Damian go one by one in terms of what announcements we wanted to talk about.
Yeah, so we got some stuff here. So first is the Lego Horizon Adventures game. So this is coming out on PC, PS5, and Nintendo Switch, and it's coming out this holiday season. Surprisingly, it's gonna be on Switch and not on Xbox. They really that's like really hater energy right there. You gotta appreciate it. But this has been rumored for a while that Lego was gonna do a Horizon game. I'm like, okay, I didn't know what to expect from it because I'm like, with all the other Lego games, it's like, to do like a Star Wars Lego game or like a Lord of the Rings Lego game. And that makes sense because those are movies into games. Yeah, it's a Lego game, but still like, oh, you can like play the movie and stuff. For Horizon, I'm like, it's already a video game. Like what would the Lego version be? Just Horizon, but Lego? That's kind of weird. But It looks like they're going for a totally different gameplay style. It looks more like Diablo or something. Like, I really don't know how to describe it besides it being like a top-down sort of like adventure game that could be played co-op. And it looks fine, I guess. Like, I feel like they showed another trailer during the Direct, and it looks a bit better. And I heard people that were hands-on with it say it actually is like a lot of fun, but it's not something I would pay like $60, $70 for. You know what I'm saying? So, but it looks fine enough. I know a lot of people like really don't like Horizon in general. I like Horizon, but I feel like the oversaturation of Horizon stuff does feel a bit weird. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like Sony hasn't really done this with many other franchises, maybe besides some Naughty Dog stuff. But
Last of Us.
Yeah, like Last of Us. But it does feel a bit forced how much they're putting a lot of stock into the Horizon IP. I like, and this is coming from someone that likes it. Like, I like Horizon, but it does feel a bit weird how much Horizon stuff there is, you know?
Yeah, I feel like PlayStation is still trying to find like their one IP that they could like nail into the ground to like really have it be like recognizable with PlayStation, which they have like a ton of. And I think that there's nothing wrong with that, having multiple IPs associated with your brand. Like, obviously Nintendo has Mario and Zelda, but those have been going on for like decades at this point, so it's kind of hard to like force that in. You know, PlayStation has like the same stuff where it was like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro before, and then with the PS2 it was kind of like everything. People may point to like the big three mascots with Ratchet and Clank, Jak and Daxter, and Sly Cooper. Then with the PS3 it was sort of like, I guess, The Last of Us, but that was like a really late PS3 game. And nowadays it's like, you know, it's still The Last of Us, and now it's like Horizon. And with Lego Horizon Adventures, you know, just like the game itself, I think it looks fine. You know, just like with most Lego games, you know, I think that they're fun co-op action adventure games that you could have fun with you, your kids, your friends, whoever. And yeah, they're not meant to be taken seriously, obviously. You know, I'm sure that this has no implications for the other Horizon Zero Dawn games or whatever the hell is gonna happen in the future. And Guerrilla has, like, I believe, directly developing this game as well, so that's gonna be kind of interesting. But I did see a tweet where someone was like, Horizon feels like a industry plan. Yeah, I was like, that kind of makes sense, because it does feel like you said, Damian, very forced from Sony and PlayStation's point of view, where it's like they're just having Horizon stuff everywhere. And, you know, are people really falling for it? Are people really falling in love with the Horizon Zero Dawn brand? Are people falling in love with Aloy? I don't know. You know, like, I liked the first game. I haven't played Forbidden West yet, but, you know, like, they're good games. They're fine. But I don't know if that would be something that I would see myself being a PlayStation seller, as would with like The Last of Us, or obviously Spider-Man's like a different thing. But, you know, like with any other PlayStation IP.
Yeah, I think the games are really good. Like, I really did enjoy the Zero Dawn, especially. I really liked, and Forbidden West was good as well. But you know, I do feel like they might be oversaturating it a bit. Also, looking back at the gameplay, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Ratchet and Clank All for One. That's what it reminds me of. Now, I was like, I couldn't like think of it until you were talking. I'm like, oh, that's what it fucking reminds me of, and I like that game. So I'm like one of the few people that actually like that game. So, but I don't know, it looks fun. But I do feel like Sony is kind of like overstating how popular that franchise is. But, you know, that's just my opinion.
Yeah. And then we got another look at Star Wars Outlaws. This is the first ever open world sort of, you know, Star Wars game. And I mean, you know, it still looks good. I think that I believe Ubisoft also showed it again during their Forward showcase. And I guess I'll talk about that as well, where it sort of goes into more bits about the gameplay and sort of like what you're actually going to be doing and how certain things are going to happen. And yeah, I mean, you know, if you wanted a open world Star Wars game, this is it. It obviously has like a lot of Ubisoft sort of elements to it. I believe during the stealth section, people were like, that's Assassin's Creed. And I'm like, yeah, it's fucking from Ubisoft. What else are they going to do? But yeah, I mean, you know, it's going to come out very, very soon within August. So, you know, if you're looking forward to that, look forward to it. You know, me personally, will I buy it at launch? I don't know. I think I should wait for reviews or a price drop, because, you know, with Star Wars games and especially Ubisoft games, they price drop almost instantly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ubisoft games go really low, really fast. You know, like Prince of Persia went on sale really fast. The Avatar game went on sale. It's like $40 now. So I'm definitely gonna wait for it. I still need to beat Jedi Survivor. Like, I still need to do that. So once I finish that, then I'll play the other Star Wars game. But it does look good. Like, you know, I think with Ubisoft games, you have to just expect them to be Ubisoft games, right? Like, they're still good fundamentally. Like, there's nothing really wrong with them besides like lack of ambition, really. It's just like, yeah, it's an open world Star Wars game, and that's what it is, you know? Same thing with the Avatar game. I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, the game is really pretty. It works. It's fun, but it's not really doing anything new. And that's kind of just what Ubisoft does. You know, sometimes they could do something really cool, you know, like with the Rabbids games or Prince of Persia. You know, like, they do feel like they actually are innovating in their genre a bit. You know, with their usual bigger AAA games, they play it safe, and it's a pretty looking game. You know, it's kind of fun to collect the stuff and explore the map, and that's about it. And that's kind of all what I'm really expecting from this game. Like, I'm just expecting to get immersed in a Star Wars story, in a Star Wars open world, and just have fun with it, right? Nothing about it seems bad at all. I watched some previews of it, and it looks good. And a lot of people saying, yeah, it is pretty good. Do I think it's going to get more than an 8? Probably not. But, you know, you know, it seems like a perfect game to just wait for sale. Maybe for $40 would be a better price for it. And, you know, I'll play it and have some fun. So, you know, I know a lot more people are harsh on it just because, you know, Ubisoft hate or whatever. But, it's whatever to me. It looks fun. I think a lot of modern Ubisoft games are, you gotta be in the right mind for it.
Yeah.
I like a Far Cry every now and then. So like I don't mind the repetition of it. All right, so next up I have this one's really short, but Civ 7 is coming out. So I played a shit ton of Civ 5, and I played maybe like 20-ish hours of Civ 6. Civ 6 didn't really grab me the same way 5 did. I don't really know why exactly. Like, it wasn't the art style, and a lot of people point to the art style like, oh, it looks too Pixar or whatever. I actually didn't mind that. I just feel like the gameplay just didn't feel as satisfying to me as Civ 5 did. And I can't really don't know why. Like, I don't know why I can't pinpoint it in my head, but I just did not play a lot of Civ 6. So I'm hoping Civ 7 kind of has that factor for me to actually like give a shit about it, because I do love the Civ gameplay loop. Like, it's a lot of fun, and I'm hoping that Civ 7 kind of captures what was missing in 6, and it's like more like Civ 5. But again, this trailer really didn't show anything besides it's coming out and Sid Meier said stuff, and that was about it. So not a whole lot, but I'm still excited for Civ 7, and I hope it kind of maybe pushes the series a little more forward. I don't really know, but and it's crazy to think that it's been so long since Civ 6. I think 6 came out like,
yeah, it came out in like 2016. Yeah,
that's fucking crazy. Holy shit, that game still feels so new to me. But anyway, it's been a long time. All right, so next I'll also talk about the next one. So Metaphor ReFantasio, they did like a big thing about this. It was all information I knew already. I guess this was more for the general audiences, but I kind of hate when Japanese developers do this, because they kind of really try to explain the game mechanics to a bunch of people, and it's just like, it just doesn't work like that. It's like when Nintendo Directs do it too, when it's like, we're gonna explain how the fuck this game works, and it's boring as shit. Like, no one wants to listen to that. Just show the cool gameplay, and people will be like, oh, I want to pick up that game. Like, and then save that tutorial stuff for when you actually play the game, right? I never like it when trailers do this thing where it's like, okay, we're going to show you how to play the game. Like, this is what this is. They're like jobs from Final Fantasy, but they're like personas and stuff. Like, I'm already sold on the game. Just sell it to other people. Just show the cool trailer and leave. Like, you don't have to spend like, they're like up there for like 5 minutes explaining how the game works. Like, don't do that. I never like it when they do that. But anyway, the game looks great. I'm still very excited for it. Looks like another banger Atlas RPG, in a busy ass month. It comes out in October with like 40 other fucking games that are coming out that I really want to play, but I am very excited for it. I've been excited for it since they, revealed it. So definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah, prepping that ice soup already, because another October
oh my God,
game.
I'm gonna be broke.
Another October game is Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. They officially announced that the release date is October 11th, which is a lot sooner than I think most people expected. But hey, we got it. And during the release date announcement trailer, they even showed some of the elements that we're going to see, such as within the story. You can do what if elements. I think that is like probably the one thing that Dragon Ball stories within the games can get away with, because people have obviously, they know what the hell is going to happen within the Dragon Ball Z story, especially. It's like, we're going to see, Goku versus Raditz again, yada, yada, yada. But now there's like these what if scenarios where you could pick different choices to sort of alternate the story a little bit, or even alternate it the whole thing, just choose whichever choice that didn't happen within the anime/manga, which I think is awesome. And obviously the game still looks great graphically. It still looks awesome gameplay wise and all this other stuff. So yeah, I hope that once we finally get our hands on it, it actually delivers. And I believe that there's also going to be local multiplayer, but only within the hyperbolic time chamber. So you know what? That sucks, but it was nice for them to actually figure out a way to get local multiplayer going to those people that still wanted to have that.
Yeah, this is kind of what I was waiting for. I was waiting for like what you're actually gonna do in the game. So I'm happy to see that. Obviously, you can go through the sagas like usual. There's the Sand Saga, Frieza stuff, Cell stuff. The standard stuff we all come to know and love. But adding that extra what if scenario, and I think you can play as. They said you can play as different characters as well, and they go through their own perspective and stuff. I think that's gonna add a lot of like novelty to the campaign and make it a lot of fun. Maybe you could just like play as Goku and just like fucking leave. I don't know. I don't know what the things are gonna be, but it's gonna be pretty cool. I'm really excited for this game still. Again, coming out October, big broke ass month. We're gonna be all broke, but game looks great. Very excited for it. So this was a nice surprise. Power Rangers Rita's Rewind. So this is another sort of like 16-bit beat 'em up game, sort of like
Shredder's Revenge.
Shredder's Revenge. There you go. Shredder's Revenge that came out last year,
or something like that.
Yeah, I'm losing track of time, but it looks great. Like, it's a standard beat 'em up. You get to play as all the different Power Rangers. I think you could go into the Megazord and stuff. There's like Mode 7 shit. Like it looks great. Like, I'm actually very excited for it. Again, I didn't watch too much Power Rangers as a kid for some reason. I don't know why. I know Travis had. I watched a bit of Dino Thunder, but that was about it. But it looks great though. Like I'm really happy all these beat 'em ups are sort of getting a second life. With Shredder's Revenge and the Scott Pilgrim game coming back. Street Raids 4 I heard was really good. Just a lot of great beat 'em ups. I really like that genre a lot. And Shredder's Revenge was fucking great. So I'm always down for more. So give me more. I love it.
I mean, you obviously can never go wrong with a good beat 'em up game. You're sort of just like obviously just beating guys up, and it's sort of mindless, brainless fun. But whenever it's done well, it's always super duper nice. And like you said, Damian, with this one in particular, the Mode 7 stuff looks so goddamn good. The sprite work looks fantastic. I just really like what this game's going for. Whether you like Power Rangers or not, like it just looks like a kick-ass game. And with my background with Power Rangers, I started with the Ninja Storm, Dino Thunder sort of era, and I stopped around Operation goddamn Turbo or something like that. I forget, but pretty much the one after Mystic Force. But yeah, I've always loved Power Rangers. I even watched a little bit of Mighty Morphin when I was a kid because they would do reruns and whatnot. But yeah, just seeing that we were getting a game within the Power Rangers universe and just having a classic beat 'em up with them, and now it looks like there's like five player multiplayer that you could do as well. That's gonna be awesome. I cannot wait to see how this game actually looks and how it performs, and whenever it does come out within later this year is gonna be awesome. Hopefully not late this year, because from September onward it's like completely stacked. Like it's kind of fucked, I'll be honest. So but yeah, I am super duper excited for Power Rangers Rita's Rewind. Then I guess the next game we got here is fucking Killer Bean. I feel like we've seen this game so many times, but we've actually never seen the game, if you know what I'm saying. Like we've actually never seen like gameplay of it. But this shit looks so funny and so goofy in and of itself. If you know like what Killer Bean is, I believe it was like years and years ago. There was like this random YouTube video of just like this bean doing some like John Wick shit, and now we have like an actual game of it. And we got this Summer Games Fest trailer, and it looks awesome. I think that this is sort of like within that same vein of like that sort of like Crab Souls like game that's going on right now. It's sort of within that genre, and I'm all in for it. Just having goofy games like this, but having sort of like the aesthetic or sort of like the realism sort of stuff going on here. You know what? If it's fun, it's fun, right?
Yeah, it really won me over. One, because the gameplay looks really fun. It's very like Gun Fu, Matrix, John Wick shit, and it looks great. Secondly, apparently it's like a roguelite, so you would play through random scenarios. It sort of like builds its own movie when you do a run, and I think that's a really cool idea. The gameplay looks fun. It's just kind of like stupid, because you're playing as a dumb bean. But, it looks like it has a lot of heart to it. So I'm actually very excited to play it. I went from being like, this is a meme game to being like, wait, I'm wish listing this on Steam because it looks fun. So yeah, it honestly looks a lot of fun. We all seen the memes of it. We all seen like the little movies of it they have on YouTube. So, yeah, it's the Killer Bean game. It looks like a lot of fun, and honestly, it was one of the bigger like surprises from the Summer Game Fest showcase. Like, I was actually like, wow, this is actually like kind of impressive. So, good job to the developer. I think it's also made by like a guy, because it's the same guy who made the movie, and he's like really passionate about this series he made. And yeah, you love to see that shit.
Look, if it works, just keep running with it.
Yeah. So next we have Sonic X Shadow. So we got another trailer. So this was a pretty big trailer because it actually like showed some new stuff. Especially with Shadow. The image was already kind of making the rounds on Twitter because it kind of got leaked like a few days before. But Shadow has like fucking wings and shit, and it's like metal as shit, and I love it. But yeah, I mean, it just looks great. Like they showed like a lot more of the gameplay. Like it's kind of crazy how good the Shadow sections look compared to the Sonic stuff. Like my only real concern about this game is the Sonic stuff isn't going to really look that much better, even though it's supposed to be a remaster. Like being able to play it on modern consoles is good enough, because Generations of Ravi does look, it's pretty good at looking at Ravi, but I do feel like they probably could put a bit more, energy into how Generations looks in general, because from the gameplay it just kind of looks the same, just higher res, but the Shadow stuff looks fucking great. Like I am very excited for that. They had some more gameplay in the in sort of the post Summer Game Fest thing. So they showed him doing the Arc and fighting Bio Lizard and shit. Yeah. And it looks great. Like I am very excited. There's multiple pathways. A lot of people were afraid it was going to be very Sonic Forces level design, but it's not. Like you have different pathways you could go to. Shadow just has just an aura to it, man. Like I love it. I really do miss that 2000 Sonic energy that Frontiers really was bringing back, and I'm happy to see it continue with this game as well. They also showed like the pre-order bonuses. You could get like his beta like design and stuff as well if you pre-ordered the game, which is really
Terios.
Cool. Yeah, Terios. He looks like ass. Like I'm really happy with the Shadow's design, but it's a really big deep cut, and that's really cool. Yeah, the game just looks great. I'm very excited for it. Also coming out October, so.
Yeah, the pre-order bonus is the Sonic Adventure skin, but if you get the digital deluxe edition, that's what it was. Terios skin. But yeah, I mean, this trailer was pretty much everything. I was honestly falling asleep during the Summer Games Fest, and then you guys woke me up. You guys were like, Sonic. I was like, all right, I'm here. But yeah, this trailer was great. I love it. I mean, I saw it at Sonic Symphony a couple times because they were just playing it in between the segments or whatever, which, by the way, Sonic Symphony, if you have tickets for it, it's fucking awesome. It's great. If you are thinking about going to it and it's coming to a stadium near you, go see it, because even if you don't like Sonic music, if you just like video game music in general, it's hype as fuck. Like the amount of just like, because I haven't listened to those songs in years, but just listening to it within that crowd and that environment was just so much fun. But anyways, Sonic X Shadow Generations, this trailer was everything. The fact that we saw White Acropolis, we saw Rail Canyon, we saw a couple of new levels for Shadow was great. Like you said, it is kind of concerning that how is Sonic Generations going to hold up as like the main game with the Shadow stuff sort of, just being like an add-on thing, if you will. But I guess that's where people are sort of being like, well, $50, it should be like 40 or something like that, which, might be more reasonable. But I feel like with the amount of production value and sort of, I guess, like me being a Sonic fanboy, I feel like that they're putting a lot of effort into the Shadow stuff than we see right now. That might justify that $50 price. Like, I'm just fucking huffing copium right now. But yeah, I mean, the Shadow stuff looks great. We did see a bunch of extra gameplay stuff, whether you saw Gamer's Cage, or if you saw the VGC or GameSpot gameplay footage of BioLizard and the Arc, it looks great. Like, I feel like if you were planning on buying this game, all of this gameplay stuff and these trailers, you probably are already going to buy it now, because it does look fantastic. And I hope that, maybe possibly within the future when they do remake or remaster other past Sonic games, because they said that they are considering that, I hope that they put more effort into actually adding stuff to the base Sonic game to it, kind of thing. Because they did that with Sonic Colors, and obviously not to that game's fault. It wasn't because they added that one new Wisp. It was because the game was just fundamentally broken. But yeah, I hope that next time they add, maybe a couple more stages here and there for like the main Sonic game, and then whatever extra stuff that they add on, maybe like a Silver episode or Blaze thing or whatever other character that they want to do next, that they obviously go all in with it, just like they are with this Shadow stuff, because the animations, the visuals, everything, it just looks way too good.
Yeah, it's just like a lot of polish to it. Like even like Frontiers, I think was missing that. Like whenever Shadow would do like an in-game QTE, and then he would have like a proper animation for like rolling down into the ground to like skating back. I'm like, it just seems like there's a lot of extra polish into this that I haven't seen in a Sonic game in a long time. So it just looks great. Like it just looks like a ton of effort was put into this, and I'm very excited to play it. I love Shadow. Always have. So give Silver his own game or his own little mini game, and I will be happy.
I'm just glad that everyone is falling in love with Shadow the Hedgehog again.
Hell yeah.
All right, so next bit we got here is Alan Wake 2. They got a little spotlight here. So first up, the big thing was that they announced that if you have the digital deluxe edition, you got the Night Springs DLC, which is pretty much a bunch of what-if scenarios within the Remedy universe. Other characters from those games are now within Alan Wake 2, fighting off the darkness or whatever. So that's a thing. But also, they have now backtracked and are now making a physical version of the game, but it is going to be the digital deluxe edition. We don't know what's going to be on the disc just yet. We don't know if the DLC is going to be on there or anything. All we know is that the Alan Wake 2 digital deluxe edition is going to have a physical release later this year in the fall. So, and it's going to retail for $70, no, $80 actually, which is kind of crazy. So, you know, if you want a physical version like myself, you're going to have to double dip. I already got Alan Wake 2 on like a pretty good discount for like $40 during the PlayStation holiday sale. So maybe I'll double dip, maybe I won't. You know, I definitely want to have this game physically because it is definitely my favorite game of last year. But I think it is kind of, you know, maybe not 100% honest for them to charge 100% full price for it. Once again, especially since the game is going to be out for more than a year at that point.
Yeah, I'm not a real fan of them. Like I get Remedy is a bit smaller, and you know they still didn't made their money back from Alan Wake 2, even though you know it did do well. It's just like, oh, we still need more money and shit. But it still feels a little scummy to release it just digital to avoid like the, you know, making the disc and boxes or whatever. And then later, like, okay, we're gonna do a physical release because you know you're basically just milking your diehard fans basically.
Yeah,
and it does feel a bit shitty to do that. But, you know, whatever, I guess. It's nice for people to actually do want a physical copy to just buy it again. I mean, it's not uncommon for people to do that. I mean, I really only did that once for Ratchet just because I was very impatient. And, like, I bought Rift Apart digitally and then bought it physically later. But, you know, but I had the option to wait. So, like, because I know the physical version was day on date with the game releasing. So I think it's a bit annoying that stuff like this is happening. And I feel like it might be a thing we see more because we're seeing a lot more games be just digital. But it wouldn't surprise me to see them like, oh, you could buy it physical later. Yeah. Even if it's not through limited run, it could just be through them. It's just like, okay, just buy the game now. So I do think that's, yeah. And limited run. Limited
run is a whole other conversation because they are doing a collector's edition for Alan Wake 2, which has some people disappointed because, you know, limited run. I guess I've been doing a lot more research on them recently because I recently bought from their like blowout sale or whatever, but they've been getting a lot of hate over the past few years because of the wait times and sort of I guess the scarcity sort of thing that they do. But you know, I guess from my perspective, where it's like, you know, back then when they were, I guess, like smaller, they would do actual limited runs. They would have the game go up and there would be this many copies. You either get it or you don't. And then you would get the game within like a month or so. Now it's like, okay, we want to make sure that we don't have bots and people fucking scalping them. So they have a pre-order time for it, and if you can buy it during this pre-order, you get it for that retail price, and then afterwards, good luck. And obviously, like, you can buy extra copies if you want to like sell it later to like hopefully get your money back or whatever. And like, you know, it's definitely like a win-lose situation where like they want to make these games physically to make sure that, you know, people are able to play it forever. But at the same time, it's like, you know, there's only so much that they can do to deliver a product as fast as they can. Yada, yada, yada. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but Damian, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, just for limited run, like if you're going to buy from limited run, just don't expect to see a game for at least 6 months. Like I've always seen it as more as a collector's thing. Like I'm not doing it to play the game, basically. I'm just doing it to have the box at that point. Like I definitely want to do the Hi-Fi Rush one, you know, one more for Tango work, you know. I don't know if that actually went up on pre-order yet.
Not yet,
I definitely, okay. I've been kind of,
I'll let you know.
Yeah, because I definitely do want that just to have the game physically. But it's like I already played the game, right? Like I just when it comes out, I'll probably play it again physically. But you know, it is more of a collector's thing. Like, don't go in there like, oh, I want to play Alan Wake 2. Let me get the limited run thing, and then you know, you're not gonna play that game for like 6 months, all right? Like, you're not gonna play that for a while. That shit ain't coming to you. So yeah, definitely, you know, definitely like, buy that if you're into collecting stuff, and that's about it. Just buy digitally at that point, you know. So
yeah, definitely a whole bag of worms there, but we'll stop there.
All right, so next they showed Skate. So yeah, Skate hasn't been like a thing for a bit, and it looks like it still won't be a thing for a bit because this is pre-alpha. They did a whole sketch, like a whole funny sketches. It's like, yeah, it's not fucking done yet. So I mean, honestly, I don't know what's taking them so long to make a skateboard game. I mean, I've never really been into this, even as a kid. Like, we both grew up in the PS2 age when that was very popular, and I really didn't give a shit about Tony Hawk, like, at all. So, like, I really can't comment on this, on like how much complexity you need for a skateboard game. The closest I got was playing Jack 2 with the hoverboard, and that's it. So but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's taking them so long, but I hope the people that want a new skate game get something good, because it's been a very long time since there's been one. Like, yeah, we got the remake of the Tony Hawk 1 and 2 Like, and those were really good apparently, but you know, we haven't really had a new one in a while. So hopefully this one's good and kind of satisfies people's taste. But it looks like we won't see that for quite a while because it's still, again, in like pre-alpha. So yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely weird that this game's taking so long to get made, especially because they announced it, I want to say about a year ago, that they were going back to skate, maybe even more than that. Maybe, oh yeah, 2 years ago. 2 years ago. I'm on their YouTube channel. It says 2 years ago. Let me just get the exact date real quick. July 2021. So yeah, it's about to be 3 years. 3 years since they announced that they were going back to skate. And we still don't have a game yet, which sucks. You know, it sucks that these games are taking so long to get developed. Obviously, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but I hope that once this product gets released and put on shelves, it doesn't get panned and it actually delivers what fans and what people want from a really great skateboarding game. You know, like I feel like people have a lot of nostalgia for Skate 1, 2, and 3 on the Xbox 360/PS3 because those were really good skateboarding games. I think my brother, he bought Skate 2 or whatever just because his friends were playing it on the Xbox 360. You know, remember back in the day when like your friends were playing something so that you would buy it as well, and nowadays that really never happens. Anyways, yeah, you know, it sucks that this game is still in pre-alpha, but hopefully next time we see it, it is sort of getting ready to be a lot more ready than the last time we saw it. Getting out of alpha, at least, you know, please.
Yep.
And then the final game we are going to talk about is Valorant coming to console. This had a spotlight at the Summer Games Fest, and it is now out. It is currently, or the beta at least, or something like that. If you got a code for it, you can play it on console on Xbox Series X/S and PlayStation 5. Good thing there is no PS4 version because I'm sure that would actually run like a mobile game. But I actually did play a little bit of it because my girlfriend, she got code for it and then she put it on my account. So then I was playing it on my PS5. So first impressions of it, I mean, if you play Valorant, you know that there's a lot of shit going on that you need a mouse and keyboard for, and trying to map it all to a controller, just having that thought was obviously a nightmare. So me playing it was also a nightmare. And obviously, when you are playing on console, people aren't going to comm or be as comfortable to comm as much, just because, you know, I feel like most console players, they don't have like a dedicated headset or
they have this shitty.
You know, like I don't have a dedicated headset for my console, you know, so, you know, you're not going to get comms, you're not going to get like the best Valorant experience. But if you want to try it out, you know, I think that this is like a perfect avenue to do it. And obviously, also all of these skins that you bought on PC transferred to consoles, so that was pretty cool to see.
That's nice.
But yeah, I mean, if you want to play Valorant on your PS5 or Xbox, sure, go for it. It's just not going to be as good as playing it on PC, or as comfortable, anyways, because you know you got to aim, you got to shoot, you got to do all these abilities. You know, there's a lot of shit going on within Valorant.
Yeah, I definitely wonder because you know I feel like tactical shooters are definitely more at home at PC. You know, things like Counter-Strike, Valorant, Rainbow Six Siege. But you know, I feel like sometimes they do okay on console. Like I think Rainbow Six Siege does do okay on console. Yeah. I know my brother's played it, and you know, has a pretty healthy population on console. Obviously, Counter-Strike didn't take off on console; it just like died. So I'm wondering what direction Valorant will go. You know, obviously you have things like Overwatch on console that's very popular, but you know, there's also not as much things going on, and you know, that game is a lot different from something like Valorant and CSGO. Yeah. So I'm wondering how its life on console will be. Like, I don't know if people, like, console players have to know, like, you're playing like a gimped version, basically. Like, you're not going to be at like your peak performance, but it's also like more available to more people, I guess. So, yeah. You know, I guess it's always nice just to have the option. And obviously crossplay isn't a thing because, you know, you get decimated. So probably for the best. But yeah, I think it's a good move from Valve. And it's always interesting to see how these PC developers would transfer the game to console. I mean, you know, not a lot of MMOs are on console, but when 14 did it, you know, Final Fantasy 14, they had a really good workaround to how, because, you know, you got to press a lot of buttons in those games. And they had a really cool way where you could press shoulder buttons and you get like 4 buttons at a time, and you would use the face buttons, and it works. And, you know, some people are very happy playing with a controller. So it's always cool to see how these developers sort of work the game to be around a console and PC at the same time. I think it's pretty interesting. So, you know, good on Riot for actually like putting this stuff on, you know, on consoles, and you know, we have to see if they would add more. I mean, I know their fighting game is probably gonna be on console. You know, I honestly, they probably wouldn't surprise me to put like Wild Rift on console if they really wanted to.
I think they already did. Yeah.
Oh, did they? Okay, yeah, because I feel like that would be a good fit for it. So, yeah, you know, console is a big market, and it shouldn't be ignored either. You know, so yeah.
Yeah, and what was the last thing I was gonna say about Valorant on console? I mean, you know, it's goddamn Riot. You know, like they could do whatever they want with it at this point, and I feel like I said, you know, it's a nice way to get people into it and maybe potentially switch over to PC if they really want to like take it seriously, kind of thing. But yeah, I still don't remember what point I was going to say, so we'll just move on. So first piece of news we got here is Embracer. They shut down the Alone in the Dark developer Pieces Interactive. So yeah, this is obviously another blow to the industry. Once again, they release a game that's sort of like middling or mediocre or even sometimes bad, and they just get shut down. And I think Embracer is another one of these bigger conglomerates that sort of just like shuts down things as soon as they fail, just like cut the losses, like don't even try again kind of thing. And that sucks. I think that is like the most egregious thing that the games industry is sort of doing right now, where it's like you're not allowing people to make mistakes or allowing people to grow and sort of try to learn from said mistakes and sort of improve upon what they did previously. You know, you can't make a Last of Us or a AAA game in general overnight. You know, you're gonna have to put those reps in. You're gonna have to put those hours in to actually learn what it takes to make a very good video game, especially within whatever genre that you're trying to do it in. And apparently Alone in the Dark was a survival horror game, and you know, obviously survival horror is like a very, I wouldn't say niche genre, but it's a genre that's kind of hard to really get correctly on your first try or even on like your second, third try even. You know, it's something that you really need to study and something that you really need to embrace and sort of, you know, understand, if you will.
Yeah, it just sucks because, you know, yeah, like you said, a lot of developers aren't going to nail it their first time to do something. And even though, like, the game was good, like, it was okay. Like, it wasn't, like, horrible or anything. It was just kind of okay and didn't sell very well. But I feel like if they were allowed to make those mistakes, then they could have made something that was even better. Because a lot of sequels just end up just building on top of the original, obviously. And, you know, same thing with the developers working on it. If you have a lot of layoffs, you're kind of back to square one, too. Like, even if something's a sequel, but half your staff gets laid off, it's like you're basically already just starting at zero because those people have no experience with the prior game. So, you know, layoffs suck. Obviously, shutting down a whole studio just because the game didn't do very well also sucks because, you know, it doesn't allow these developers to really make something truly great. You know, they just have that one game and that's it. It's over. So, it sucks that, you know, and this is kind of why we see a lot of games don't take a lot of risk. You know, they stick more to, you know, things that people will like, you know, like loot or more competitive style games or, you know, whatever, open world stuff. You know, all the standard stuff we see nowadays is because, you know, a lot of developers don't like to take risk on genres or other stuff that just isn't proven to like be popular anymore. It's kind of why we don't see like a lot of RTS games anymore or even 3D platformers, because like those take a lot of time and effort to make, and you know that genre isn't as popular as it used to be. So why are you gimping yourself? Like you might as well just make another hero shooter, right? So it's, you know, kind of been a thing with the gaming industry right now, just because how big budgets are now. Even this game, like they had like well-known actors playing, you know, in the game. They had fucking Hopper as the main
David
guy.
Harbour.
Yeah, so that's not exactly cheap. So like I'm sure that really added to the budget and just made it so like it had to be a banger. And when games can't do that, and most games don't, the whole ass companies just get shut down. And it doesn't help that these publishers also are like ready to just strike if their developers just don't do like good enough, you know, like Embracer just like, oh, fuck you, you're dead. So yeah, it's terrible. I think these companies should learn from their mistakes and make better games, and these developers shouldn't be punished for it because, you know, yeah, you can't get good at something unless you like mess up a bit, you know. So and even then the game wasn't even bad. So like, yeah, and if you do good, your company still gets shut down like Tango Works. So yeah, it kind of just sucks right now. But yeah,
no one's winning anymore.
Nope, we're all losing. But either way, speaking of losing, I guess, because Twitter always loses their mind, is Marvel Spider-Man 2 update is featuring new suits. So we got a bunch of new suits. I think these are all originally designed by Insomniac. So, you know, we have a lot of people on Twitter that are very mad about it. I mean, yeah, some suits don't look amazing, but most of them are pretty okay. Like, you know, obviously we have more of the, you know, Into the Spider-Verse Peter and animated Miles. Like, those are great, obviously. But, you know, like Last Stand Peter looks pretty okay. What else was the other one I liked? The Metro suit looks pretty okay. Like, some of these are good, but, you know, Twitter will always be like, this one suit doesn't look great, so that means the Sony should die. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's been a thing ever since Spider-Man 2 came out. Like, I haven't really seen this when the first game of Miles came out. It seemed like everyone liked them, so it's whatever. But as soon as Spider-Man 2 came out, it became like Last of Us Part 2 for the Spider-Man community. It was like, we hate everything now. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't deserve criticism or anything. Like, I think there's some things that Spider-Man 2 doesn't do very well, but like it still is a really good game, at least to me. And you can not like it, that's also fine. But I think like some of the nitpicks and stuff feel like way too reaching. I'm like, okay, like just don't wear the fucking suit. Like it's not that big of a deal. Like it's a free update. I don't know. It just seemed really weird, the sort of like shift in this game's like opinion, and same thing with Insomniacs, where it's like they really didn't do much wrong besides just make a sequel. So yeah I don't know.
So like for the suits, they were designed by guest people that they brought in, whether they were celebrities or actual designers or whatever the case. They just made whatever suit that they thought looked cool, and then Insomniac sort of made it within the game. And you know what? If you don't like it, you don't like it. It's not that big of a deal, kind of thing. It's not something that they are going to force you to use. And then obviously with the 4 suits that they added, they also brought back 4 other suits, like the Last Stand Peter. That's one that fans have been wanting for a while, along with the Spider-Verse Peter, and then the Animated Miles one and the Uptown Pride one as well. So, you know what, guys? It's just free suits. It's just cosmetics. You're not paying for these at all. These are free for you to have within the game if you're still playing it, and if you still want to do a new playthrough. Now you can do the full-on Spider-Verse costumes. That's great. I think that's awesome. So, for these people to also be complaining about these other suits, it is what it is. You can like them, you can not like them. It's whatever. I think that with the whole Spider-Man Twitter sort of debacle, they just want to complain about something and always sort of nag and whatever, always feel entitled to something from Insomniac. Before it was the Raimi suit. I feel like that's where it all started, where people like, put the Sam Raimi suit and put it in, and then they finally did it. They did it for free. That was like the only suit they put within that one update, and that was still not enough. People are still complaining, still asking for more things. They're wondering, where's that DLC coming out, yada yada yada. And it's like Insomniac went through a lot of shit within the past year. Like, just let them cook. I'm sure they're working on it. I'm sure they want to make sure that it's stable, that it fits, that it works within the game, and that when it comes out, it actually delivers, unlike when Marvel Spider-Man 2 came out, with the whole cube thing going on, and obviously it was rushed within the story and everything like that, just let them actually take their time for once, because, for once they can. So, it is what it is. This is a free update. They get new suits, and you can use them, you cannot. It is what it is, but yeah.
Alrighty, so next we have the Xbox Game Showcase. So I didn't watch this live. I watched this later in the day, but it was really good. I didn't have a lot. Again, I didn't have a lot of expectations for this because Microsoft has been going through it this year as well. Been firing, laying off fucking everybody. So I think there was a lot of the people just weren't very excited for this. But then it finally came out, and yeah, it was really good. There was a lot of good stuff here. So yeah, I personally think it was a really good Xbox. I mean, usually Xbox does have really good directs, like I think or showcases, whatever. Like they usually have like really good showcases. Sony usually has kind of like the worst ones, and Nintendo could vary. But Xbox usually has a pretty good like slate of things. So do you want to kick off with? I guess what did you think as well?
I mean, I didn't watch it live either. I was kind of just rewatching the showcase at like 2 times speed and then slowing it down once I saw a announcement that I was kind of interested in. But I mean, for like the most part, just like looking at like what games they offered, there were definitely a lot more exciting games that were obviously exciting and sort of what people would look forward to, especially within an hour compared to Summer Games Showcase or Summer Games Fest with like 2 hours of games and announcements. Here Xbox actually showed up and they presented some games that people were actually looking forward to or didn't even know that was coming out. They partnered with some studios like Square Enix, to show off the next Life is Strange game featuring Max Caulfield. Like, that was fucking great. And obviously with Konami for Metal Gear Solid Delta and all this other stuff. So yeah, I think overall when you look at the showcase in and of itself, it's definitely better than Summer Game Showcase. But I still think the Nintendo Direct, was kind of too crazy for its own right to be as good as it was. But I guess I'll kick off with obviously they talked about Call of Duty Black Ops 6 at the start and the end of the show with its whole dedicated showcase. I didn't watch that, but I know a lot about what's going on within Call of Duty Black Ops just because I've been writing for it a lot. And yeah, this Call of Duty is like pretty hyped up just because it is Treyarch's return. They are primarily known as like the secondary studio, and they haven't done a Call of Duty game since 2020. This is the longest Call of Duty game that's been in development. I believe it's like 4 years or something like that. And yeah, people are excited because they want to switch up within the Call of Duty formula. and to have Treyarch come back and sort of, present themselves a new version of the series is going to be exciting. And it takes place during like the Bill Clinton sort of era of like the presidency as well. So that's going to be kind of interesting. And it is coming out day one on Game Pass and also on October 25th if you are going to purchase it. So yeah, I mean, I might buy it. I'm not entirely sure. The last Call of Duty game I bought was Modern Warfare 2 in 2022, and I didn't even play it for that long. I spent like $70 on it for some god-awful reason, but you know what? It is what it is. Maybe I'll buy this one at launch. Who knows? Just because, like we said, October is goddamn stacked, and I don't know if I have, another $60, $70 to spare.
Yeah, it's a lot. Good thing a lot of these games are coming out 2025, so that's good. And the next game they showed was Doom: The Dark Ages. So for a long time, this was called Doom Year Zero. It's been leaked for a while that we're going to do like sort of like a more medieval like Doom game, I guess. And it looks fucking great. I mean, I love Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal a lot. And this game looks fucking great. Like you have like a fucking shield that like bone saws people. You have like a gun that crushes skulls and shoot the skulls back. Apparently it's supposed to be a slower paced game than Eternal, which I think is fair. I think Eternal's main criticism was that it was like too much going on at once. Like you had to switch weapons constantly. You had to switch to your chainsaw to get ammo, and then you had to like shoot fire at people to get health back or whatever, and then get armor some other way. There was a lot of stuff going on. Doom 2016 was more of a Metroidvania, slower paced game, but still like a lot of flashy glory kills and stuff. This game started having its own identity too, being more of a slower pace. Like I think they said they want you to feel like a monster truck in this game or something, just like this slow tank just killing everything. So I kind of like that each of these new Doom games have their own identity to them and still keeping that core focus on just killing shit in first person, right? So I absolutely love the new Doom games, and I'm very excited for this one. I think you would like them too. I think Doom 2016 and Eternal are very good games, and I highly recommend them. I think they're great. So just great level design, great encounters, great power-ups, just great everything. It's just so much fun, and I'm very excited for this. So we don't know anything besides coming out next year. So, but yeah. I feel like I need a new graphics card.
Yeah, I still have Dune 2016. I bought it on Black Friday one year, but I still haven't fully played it. But yeah, I mean, these games just look, so good, so stylistic. I mean, this trailer in and of itself was edited so goddamn well. Like, I feel like it showed everything people wanted to know about this new Doom game within like a minute or two. And it's great. It's fantastic. Just getting that new shield, like you said, that gun that crushes a skull and you shoot it back. Like, that is like insane shit to see. But yeah, I mean, I just love that this trailer was probably like the best trailer that you could open up this Xbox Game Showcase with, because it's just like, all right, now like get excited, get hyped, because that trailer was like so good with its music and sort of how it was cut and like the transitions and everything like that. So yeah, I mean, I am excited for this new Doom game, and I'm glad that it is coming out next year, because this year is a little stacked. So
yeah, I could definitely wait on this game, because there's too much games coming out. Like I just can't right now.
I guess I'll jump around a little bit here, and I will talk about Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, because this game had a lot of controversy within Twitter and people just being like, oh, it actually looks too pretty, which is very funny. But yeah, I mean, it looks good graphically. It looks very much faithful. Like, they're literally taking shot for shot of the original Metal Gear Solid 2 and putting it within this new remake, and I think that is awesome. To those people that are saying that it looks too pretty, I can see where they're coming from a little bit, because it's like the way that the original Metal Gear Solid looked, and because Kojima's not involved, like they obviously don't know what like his direction and what his vision was. This was like the first big Metal Gear game without Kojima. And Konami's writing a lot on this game, I feel, especially for the Metal Gear franchise. But, I could see where that crowd's coming from, where they're like, it actually does look too pretty, because it doesn't have the same colors or the same tintedness or sort of like that same vibe that the old Metal Gear Solid brought.
Is missing the piss filter.
Yes.
Like, they're bringing it back. Like, apparently you could enable it on the options. Like, you can make the game look yellow like the original game did. But yeah, I definitely feel people's concerns. Like, it looks great, like graphically, and the gameplay looks a lot more polished and stuff. But I think people are like concerned that it just doesn't have, Kojima's like presence, I guess. Like he doesn't have his vision or whatever. And I feel like that's kind of a big part of what makes Metal Gear to a lot of people. And I feel like if he was to do a remake, it wouldn't be a straight remake like this game. It would be something crazy, right? Like he'll do something weird or whatever.
He would do like a Final Fantasy remake treatment. Yeah.
He would do something weird with like a remake idea. You know, I'm pretty sure he did that with Twin Snakes anyway, like because when they remade Metal Gear 2 on GameCube, like it was like weird and different. So like, you know, that's probably, he would have done the same thing, but since he's not in the picture, Konami is just gonna play it safe and be like, okay, we're just gonna do a standard remake of Metal Gear 3 because people really like that one. So but again, I think it looks great, like, you know, just graphically and maybe gameplay wise. Definitely gonna wait for reviews for this one, but I think it should be solid. You know, I think Konami really is trying to claw itself back up from like it's like hell that's been sent down to, you know, like, you know, I know Bomberman had a few games recently, but most of it is just doing collections of pachinko machines. So hopefully they could come back and actually use the IPs like well, because they have a lot of good stuff, you know, Castlevania, Metal Gear, Bomberman, you know, they have a lot of stuff. Just use it and make good games. So hopefully they could get on the right track. Hopefully they could have their Capcom Square Enix moment where they just make banger games, but we're gonna have to wait and see for that one.
Yeah. Apologies for saying Metal Gear 2. Obviously, I don't know anything about Metal Gear Solid, but this is Metal Gear 3 being remade.
Yeah, it's Metal Gear Solid 3. All right, so I guess I'll talk about Dragon Age. So like this has like a lot of controversy. So I haven't played it. I haven't played a Dragon Age game. Like I played a bit of Dragon Age Origin, and that's it. But my brother has, and you know, with what's it called? Veilguard? Yeah, Veilguard. When Veilguard got revealed, a lot of people were not excited about it. So this game has had like a long history of being like remade in development for like a very long time, since Inquisition came out like 10 years ago or something at this point. And ever since that game, this game was originally supposed to be a live service game, but they kind of scrapped that, I think, after Anthem like ate shit. So they're like, okay, let's do something different. But you could definitely feel like it has some live service elements to it. Obviously the art style is a lot more simplistic. It looks a lot more, as people would say, Fortnite-y. Like, you know, it has like the more blocky character design and cutesy Pixar stuff. The vibe is a lot more cheery now. You know, everyone's very jokey and shit. The trailer would like introduce people like it's a fucking hero shooter. It's like, oh, this guy, the necromancer. You know, it just felt very off. You know, I think, and I'm not saying Dragon Age doesn't have a sense of humor or whatever, but you know, Dragon Age 1, from what I remember, it had a lot darker of an atmosphere than this game did. I don't know how the sequels fared, but you know, this game was definitely felt like kind of whiplash for people that have played Dragon Age Origins. And the gameplay looks fine. Like, they showed some gameplay later, and it just kind of just looks like, you know, your standard action RPG from a AAA developer, and that's about it. Like, it definitely feels like this game has been in development hell, and they've restarted development like 50 times. Like, it feels like this version has been worked on for maybe 3 years, and they're like, okay, we gotta like ship this shit now. And it just looks like fine, I guess. Like, no one's really excited for it. Like, I'm really, like, my brother's just like, whatever, I guess. Like, he's a big Dragon Age fan. He's just like, I don't know, man. So, yeah, it definitely has been really just, it's basically like one of the only disappointing games in this showcase was this game. And it sucks because a lot of people were looking forward to it, but it kind of just looks okay.
Look, I don't know. My girlfriend's very excited for this shit, and I gotta buy day one for her, so that's neither here nor there.
Also, we don't know when it's coming out, just 2024. So
yeah, it's probably going to come out later this year. Obviously, you know, it's going to come out during that hell of a time frame between September and December. So they're going to pick one of those days and it'll be like, hey, let's hope it does good, but we'll see. Next game I want to talk about here is South of Midnight. I feel like that this is a game that really surprised me when I saw it. Because like I said earlier, I like watched the showcase at like 2 times speed, and then when I saw this game, I was like, wait, let me like rewind and like slow it down a little bit. Because this game looks like Xbox's like Tomb Raider action adventure game that they're trying to go for, you know, like Uncharted sort of thing. You know, obviously they're like a decade later or whatever, but it looks very good. It looks very stylized. I think it's at 24 frames on purpose, which is kind of crazy, just to get like, I guess, like that movie animated feel. But it looks pretty cool. You know, it has a lot of spiritual magic elements. It's taking place within a swamp right now. You know, we don't really know much about it other than it's coming out within 2025, which, you know, is fine. I'm glad that we are getting to know that like what is within Xbox's lineup of games. People are saying that the gameplay and like the combat is very much like Bayonetta-y, which I can see. You know, it definitely has like this sort of like hack and slash stylistic approach to it. So yeah, I mean, this is actually like an Xbox game that I'm kind of looking forward to.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I love the art style. I love the setting, like this Louisiana like swamp with like mystical monsters and stuff. I love the use of the frame rate. It seems like gameplay it goes to like regular, like, you know, a normal frame rate, but in cutscenes it has like that 24 frames thing, you know, like or maybe lower. And it looks really nice. Like, I think it looks nice in cutscenes. I wish they kind of committed the whole way through and just made it like 24 frames. I know that would make people puke or whatever, but I don't know. I think it looks kind of cool. There was another game on here that we don't have listed here called Mixtape that also was like had like a 24 frame thing going on. So all the characters kind of move like from Spider-Verse or whatever, and it looks really cool. I don't know. I'm kind of like down for that. Like, if done well. Obviously, it probably wouldn't work more in an action game like this, but yeah, I just really like the style of it. If the gameplay is good, then that's great as well. Again, from the gameplay, the show looked pretty like run of the mill, like, you know, like you fight some guys and move on. So I'm hoping the gameplay kind of shows a bit more uniqueness to it, but just visually it looks great. So yeah, definitely something I will look forward to when it comes out, and I'll keep my eye on it to see how, you know, how it's doing. I guess the next game that I would talk about that surprised me was Expedition 33. Holy shit. Okay, this game caught me so off guard. One, it was fucking Ben Starr, so he voiced Clive in Final Fantasy 16. So I'm like, oh, I know that guy. So he was voicing the main guy. I was kind of hooked already on the premise, being like this like random girl would like paint a number, and then anyone at that age just fucking gets Thanos snapped. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then, it looks great. I'm like, oh, the music's great. And then, it showed the gameplay being like, the guy just walking in the third person. I'm like, okay, it looks like a standard third person action game, whatever. And then it went fucking turn-based. I'm like, what?
Yes.
Like, this is like a Western turn-based game. Like, it's actually like insane. Whoa, it caught me so off guard because, I'm happy turn-based is really making a big comeback in like modern games. I think Atlas has done a lot to really bring back that turn-based style since all their games are turn-based. And, you can make those games really interactive. And if this game looks like it's going more for the Paper Mario approach where you would take an attack and then do like a Q2E basically. So like if you're doing a gun attack, you would like actually have to aim at the enemy after you do the command. And I think that's great. I mean, Paper Mario combat's fucking great. So like just take that for a more serious Western RPG like this. I'm so down for it. So the developers seem very happy with the reception it's been getting. It's been doing really good. It's been a big surprise for a lot of people, myself included. I was like gobsmacked by it. I was like, what the fuck? So yeah, definitely very excited for this. I definitely have this on my radar. I think Shadow Hearts VA is also in this from Baldur's Gate. So a lot of good voice talent, great music. The combat system is just turn-based in a Western game that looks like this is like just so jarring to see, but I love it. So yeah, this definitely caught my eye. Very excited for this. And yeah, I can't fucking wait. It looks great.
Yeah, pretty much my exact thought. I was like, what if Americans made Persona?
Well, actually, it's French. Apparently,
well,
French.
Whatever.
Yeah, Western.
What if a Western developer made Persona? But
yeah.
Anyways, forget what I said. Next game I will pick out from here is a new Perfect Dark. I think that this really surprised everyone. I don't think really anyone's keeping an eye on the Perfect Dark series, but you know what? The fact that Xbox is digging into their catalog of games that they've had for a while now, and they're making a new one, I think is pretty dope. I'm not the biggest Perfect Dark guy. I know that they had a huge significance within the first-person shooter space back in the day on the N64, and they tried to reboot it, I believe, on the Xbox 360 prior. It didn't really work all that well, but you know what? Getting a brand new one, I think, is going to be very exciting to see how they could change it up once more.
Yeah, I mean, they actually did show, because this was the Perfect Dark reboot they showed like 5 years ago, but it's been through so much development hell, and we don't know what the fuck happened during that time, but here it is now. So they're finally showing it again, and it looks great. Obviously, this is very vertical slice gameplay. Like, all this seems very fake, like or very curated gameplay. But from what they're showing, what their vision of the game is, it looks good. Like, it looks like it's more like an immersive sim game. So things like Deus Ex or Prey, it's going more for like, it's not just a straight up shooter. Like, it's going more for like, you could do different things in the game world to affect stuff. I think, which is a good idea for Perfect Dark, since that game has a lot of things with like conspiracies and being like an agent and shit. So I think that could fit that game series really well. I also don't know much about Perfect Dark besides like the, basic stuff a lot of people know about it. All I know about it was like the Xbox, like, I don't know if it's 360. I think it was 360. I don't know. That game wasn't very good. But the original game was good. So hopefully this game is good as well. And hopefully we can bring back more rare stuff like Banjo. That would be kind of cool.
Hey, we'll see.
All right, so next I'm going to talk about these two expansions here, so Diablo and Starfield. So I'll start with Starfield first. So Shattered Space is coming out. It looks like it's going to be dealing with one of the factions that were talked about a lot in Starfield, the base game, but there wasn't like any real quest dealing with them directly. And it looks like this DLC is going to be dealing with that faction directly, which is cool because they have a really cool lore that like they like worship a giant space serpent or some shit. It's kind of cool. Again, Starfield as a game in general, like I like it, but it definitely is like a 7 out of 10. Like it's not really doing a lot, but I enjoyed it for the most part. Just by like, I put 100 hours into it, and by the end of it, I'm like, okay, I really need to just like finish this because it's just, I started to feel the repetitiveness of that game, and I think the world has some good stuff going for it, but it doesn't feel as rewarding, I guess, as something like Fallout or the Elder Scrolls. Like I feel like those games have more thought out lore and stuff, and Starfield is just very much like, oh, we're just doing the faction stuff, or we're just doing this. Like, that's cool stuff, but yeah, it's definitely like a middle of the road game. But I'm still looking forward to this expansion. I'm getting it regardless because I think I bought the like mega edition of Starfield when it came out, so I could play it 3 days early, I think. So I'm going to be getting it regardless when it comes out. So I guess I'll play it when it comes out. I don't even pay for it because I already paid for it. But yeah, it looks fun. And it looks like the world isn't going to be randomly generated or anything. It's going to be like a set map you go to that's supposed to be really big, which is great because I think curated content, like that's the main thing Starfield does bad, is the randomly generated stuff. Like it feels bad. Like it feels like there's no sense of exploration. Like there's nothing rewarding to explore. Like when I was playing Fallout 4 after the TV show, I'm like, wow, this game is so fun to explore because everything is handcrafted. There's cool little Easter eggs and funny bits here and there, and it just makes exploring the Commonwealth like fun. I didn't really feel that way with Starfield. Like exploring was like the worst part about that game, even though it was like the main advertising thing. So if Shattered Space could kind of bring that back, even if at a smaller scale, I'll be totally down for it. So hopefully it's good. Hopefully Todd listens. Apparently there's supposed to be more DLC on the way. So I guess we'll see how that turns out. And next is the Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred. So this is its first expansion. It's going to be showing, it's going to have a new class. It's going to have a new area, a new main story. And yeah, the main sort of CG cutscene was great, very fucking disturbing, but that's just Diablo. So that was really cool. I actually really did enjoy the story of Diablo 4, like base Diablo 4. So I'm excited to see how they move on to, more of a live service model of expanding the story through several expansions and maybe ending it with a big expansion or something. And honestly, I'm just happy like they're committing to Diablo 4 and having a bunch of expansions, because I really wish Diablo 3 had more. Like just having one expansion for Diablo 3 did feel a bit weird. Like I felt they could have had at least 2 or 3 to flesh out that game, add more classes, add more acts to the game. And it looks like this game is doing that. So and with the recent loot overhaul and just making the game feel a lot better, I feel a lot more like comfortable, and I guess like Diablo 4 just feels good now. Like I really do enjoy what the game is going for now. So definitely looking forward to this expansion now that I think they fix a lot of the bigger issues with Diablo 4. And yeah, just excited to play it also in October. So yeah.
All right, so the next thing that me and Damian were probably the most excited for is Life is Strange Double Exposure. So this came out of nowhere. This is Deck Nine's newest Life is Strange game. Once again, don't work on the franchise anymore, unfortunately, but Deck Nine are now returning to Max Caulfield, and they are running another murder mystery, but Max has new powers. She can now alternate realities or something like that.
She has like parallel universes or something.
Yeah, so she can see like what a alternate universe would have looked like if her new friend would have lived or whatever. So yeah, I mean, it's coming out later this year on October 29th, but if you get the Ultimate Edition, you can play the first 2 chapters on October 15th. They're fucking doing that bullshit again.
Yeah, that's kind of bullshit, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very much looking forward to this, even though, obviously the Life is Strange games are very campy. They're very cheesy. They're very much what you would expect from like a teen drama. They're not supposed to be taken super duper seriously, but you know what? We like them. People were very upset with how Max looked in terms of, she's obviously like a college student now and she's much older. People were like, that's not Max Caulfield. Who the fuck is that? My opinion is that, I think it looks like Max. I think, in my opinion, it looks like what a older Max Caulfield would look. You know, it's obviously been so long since we've seen her. And when the first Life is Strange came out, it was on like PS3, Xbox 360 hardware kind of thing, maybe even like PS4 to a certain extent. So, you know, to now be on like the PS5 and now within 2024, you know, they can do some enhancements within the graphics and obviously change how the characters look and whatnot. And obviously this is a completely different development team. So, you know, they're able to change and do stuff however they want. Will they actually change her look? I don't know. The outrage in terms of how she looked was actually kind of big for the Life is Strange community, I would say. So we'll wait and see, but you know, I'm excited for it regardless.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of always happens when a character moves from like more advanced hardware as well. Like a lot of characters just end up looking a lot different, and I mean, it's whatever. I mean, you could just she just got older. You know, I think she was like 16 or something in Life is Strange 1, and she's probably like 20 something now. So like, you know, it's obviously not going to be the same. But yeah, I was definitely like, holy shit, it's Max. What the fuck? So that caught me off guard. I am a little afraid the story's going to be maybe too rehashy because I have a best friend and there's a thing happening. I got to do this to say. I'm like, that seems a bit like Life is Strange 1. I don't know if they're like playing into the parallel dimension thing though, because apparently they had like some other interview where they're really wishy-washy about like what your choices in one would impact in this game. Is like, oh, like it's both happening at the same time, like Bay or Bay both happened, and like it's like really weird. I don't know if they're doing that because they don't want to invalidate anyone's feelings or whatever, or they want to just like maybe like have a clean slate, or if it's an actual plot thing. I'm leaning more into it being an actual plot thing that's gonna happen, because it being a parallel universe thing would mean like, yeah, Bay ending happen and Bay ending happen, you know what I'm saying? So it could both be happening at the same time or some shit. I'm very intrigued in it. I'm gonna buy it regardless because, you know, Life is Strange. And also because Max, I'm like, I really like Max. It was nice to see her again. So obviously we had the comics going through like more of the more her and Chloe stuff, but this one's just Max basically. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that works and how if she even mentions anything from Life is Strange 1. It's going to be weird, but I am very excited to see what they go for it, because it seems like it's going to be a sequel but also not a sequel. I don't fucking know what they're doing, but I'm excited to see it. So definitely a big surprise for me. I really think they're doing a good job with the Life is Strange series. I know they had the weird controversy shit with like the Nazi symbols or whatever with some of the developers adding in True Colors. That was weird.
Oh,
but
what the fuck?
Yeah, you didn't know about that? Yeah, it was fucking weird. But I think it was like one or two developers that would be like fucking weird. But I thought True Colors was really good. So also, why would you work on a really progressive game if you're like alt-right? That makes like no fucking sense, but whatever. Anyway, I'm so excited for it. So there you go.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. It's definitely strange. Or
Life
weird, I should say. Yeah, it's definitely weird talking about like continuity for Life is Strange, because obviously you have one of the two endings at the end of the first game, which is like pretty big and sort of like all of your choices prior to then didn't really matter leading up to that choice. But you know what? That choice between Bay versus Bay was very much like huge for the community. I would say so much so that the comics took the ending where Chloe lives and it was like, all right, we're just gonna run with it and like see what happens within this new timeline. And you know, that comic book run is very, very good. I really do like what they were able to do within that version of the story, and I'm interested to see how this version of the of that story is going to take it. Are they even going to mention Chloe? Who the fuck knows? Because, you know,
I feel like they have to.
Yeah, I feel like they have to, because it kind of makes no sense for them to be like, another one of my best friends died, and it's like, all right, well, there's a reason why you stopped using your powers, right? Kind of thing. So, you know, hopefully they touch on that and not just like sort of like breeze by within like a one line kind of thing. Because obviously bringing back Max Caulfield is like a huge thing, especially for the Life is Strange community. But yeah, I'll just end it there. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, we'll talk about more on October, I'm sure. So yeah.
Yes.
All right, I guess I can mention Indiana Jones in a Great Circle. So this game actually looks really good. So, I mean, there wasn't like a lot of gameplay in this thing, but just from like the cutscene that played, I'm like, yeah, it really is just Indiana Jones. Like, it really goes full in for that feel, and I really liked it. I think the main controversy with this game is that's first person and not third person. But honestly, I think they could innovate more on that. Because obviously, if you make it third person, it's just going to feel like Tomb Raider or Uncharted at this point, right? And I think we have enough of those games at this point. So making it first person does seem like a really big risk just to like be different. And I kind of appreciate that. It's just like, okay, like Machine Games is known for their first person games, so why, take away their strength? Like maybe we can make this and make it better or whatever. And I think that's really interesting. Like they didn't show a lot of gameplay in this. Again, they showed maybe like some quick stuff, him punching people and whipping guys or whatever. But it was mostly focused on like the cinematic, which was really good. But again, it still is a video game, so we have to focus on like the gameplay part. So hopefully they show more gameplay at some point. But it does look really good. Like I think that's the right energy going for it for an Indiana Jones game. So I'm looking forward to it. I don't know. I won't play it day one or anything, but it does look like a lot of fun.
Yeah, as someone who has never watched a Indiana Jones movie or anything within the Indiana Jones franchise other than the Lego games, I am very much looking forward to this. I mean, this trailer, cutscene, whatever you want to call it, very much gave me vibes from like Uncharted, where it's like, Nathan Drake.
Zoomer talking.
Yeah. Zoomer talking. 25-year-old Zoomer. Just talking about, like it feels like a cutscene that I would see within like one of the Uncharted games where like Nathan Drake's just like confronted by like the bad guy and then, he has to like get out of it somehow or whatever. It very much gave me that vibe, and then obviously he gets out of it somehow, and then, shenanigans happen, action happens, and I mean, it's great. I'm very much looking forward to it. We still don't have a release date for it, which I think is something that a lot of people were looking forward to. I guess Machine Games just want to make sure that whichever date they pick, they are like able to, for one, sell copies, and two, make sure that they are not rushing the process of it as well. Because, there were rumors way back then where it was like this game might come to PS5 or whatever, which is like kind of crazy. So maybe they want to do a obviously timed exclusive release on Xbox and then later on for the PS5 version. But anyways, hopefully this game comes out not during October or November. That's all I'm asking.
It's definitely coming out in November, like 100%. But
don't do that to me. And then quickly, they got some new versions of the Xbox Series X coming out, a pretty much all digital version of it. If you want a 1 terabyte version, it's going to be $450, and then a 2 terabyte version is $600, and it's going to come out this holiday season. Those price points are kind of crazy when you consider that they are fully digital consoles. If that's something that you want, go for it. If you feel like that you need to, I mean, I feel like everyone should get fucking 2 terabytes, but for $600, I think that's a bit of a stretch. But especially when you have a all digital console, you kind of need that space. So, if you're going to go all digital, you might as well go with the 2 terabyte model. That's just me. But, games are just getting bigger and bigger. And if you're going to commit to it, you might as well commit to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you can't do shit with 1 terabyte anymore. You need 2 terabytes. Even then, that's like my PC has like 4 terabytes right now. It's like I need more. Also, I'm just lazy and I don't like uninstalling stuff because I'm like an idiot. But yeah.
And then the last announcement that they did for the Xbox Game Showcase was obviously Gears of War E-Day. This was their biggest reveal that they had.
They played Mad World. They had Mad World.
Yes.
They played it in the background.
This is the Coalition's next Gears of War project. If you guys didn't know, Epic Games used to be the developers behind the franchise, but then the Coalition took over with Gears 4, and they have been developing the series ever since then. And this is now their next project, which I am very much excited for, just because I heard Gears 5. I haven't played Gears 5, but I played Gears 4, and Gears 4 was just uninspired. It was still fun to play another Gears of War game, but it wasn't necessarily anything too crazy or too amazing. With Gears of War E-Day, obviously we're going back to like the events where the Locust kind of took over the fucking planet and everything went to shit after that. So to play those events that lead up to the beginning of Gears of War 1, which if you guys don't remember, that's when like Marcus Phoenix was like in jail, and then Dom broke him out to like fucking fight this war. This is going to be exciting. People are clamoring for a brand new Gears of War game, and with them going all the way back before even Gears 1 happened is going to be crazy, especially because I feel like the one thing that I loved about the Gears of War franchise when it was under Epic Games with the first 3 was that obviously the gameplay's tight, the gameplay's great with the sort of third person shooting and everything like that. The multiplayer is a lot of fun, but the story is like a lot better than you would expect for a series that is just like as bloody and as gory as this one. Like there's a lot of heart into it. There's a lot of characters that you will fall in love with and then really sad when they fucking die. That'll happen a lot. So to get Marcus Phoenix and Dom back is going to be great and awesome. So hopefully that this game lives up to expectations, because it has been a very, very long time since fans have been really satisfied with a Gears of War entry.
Yeah, it's definitely a series I always want to like give more time to. Same thing with Halo. Like, during the 360 days, I did play like Halo 3, ODST, Reach, and stuff. But I feel like I do want to go back and play all those campaigns. Same thing with Gears. Like Gears, I only really played like Gears 2 multiplayer and like Horde mode, and that's about it. Like I haven't really touched the series too much after that. So it's definitely a series I definitely want to like really get more into, because it's fun. I like third-person shooting. Why not? So hopefully E-Day is kind of like a nice sort of entry point back for a lot of players, and a lot of people just coming in again, just being like, yeah, I remember why I like this game. So hopefully it delivers. But I guess we'll see that. It doesn't even have a date, so we don't really know. I think it should be next year, but we don't know. I believe there was no date. So
yeah, nothing confirmed just yet.
All right. So the last showcase of this not E3 time was the Nintendo Direct. They wanted to be a little different this year, so they didn't do it on the Tuesday after. They did the next Tuesday, because Nintendo likes to do that, I guess. But yeah, it was honestly a banger of a Direct for like no reason. So this is basically the last maybe major Direct of the Switch 1's lifespan. Like wherever they're going to show next is going to be all Switch 2 probably. So I was expecting nothing. My expectations for this Direct was remasters and ports. Like I was expecting a Wind Waker, Twilight Princess remaster, and I was expecting Metroid Prime 2 and 3 2 and 3 remasters, and maybe show Metroid Prime 4 at the end. But what we got in this Direct was like way better. We got a lot of new stuff, and it really just shows that this console, I will die on this day. I think the Switch is Nintendo's best console. I think they didn't have to focus on any gimmick. Like the Wii had the waggle shit, the Wii U had the gamepad. It combined both console and handheld series together. So the library of the Switch is just gigantic, with so many games just focusing on its core gameplay and not some dumb gimmick. It's great. Like the Switch has been such a banger of a console, and that's continuing on until the end of its life. So I don't know, but any overall thoughts about the Direct before I start? Talking about stuff?
The Switch is over 7 years old, and when you really look at the library of first-party games, third-party games, everything as a whole, it's like there's a lot of games on the Nintendo Switch. I don't know if you saw that picture on Twitter of that guy with all the fucking Switch games. Like a lot of people have collections like that. Like it is actually insane. Shelf space. Yeah. Yes. The only crime that the Switch has when it comes to like the physical releases is that every single game's like that white text. I fucking hate it. Why didn't we just like do logos or whatever? But
it used to in the beginning. Yes. But then they stopped. So.
But anyways, this Direct was a banger. I watched it at work, I had to, pause it, then go back into it. But yeah, they had a lot of great announcements, a lot of great games that people weren't expecting, bangers that I didn't even realize that were bangers until I went on Twitter afterwards. But yeah, I think ending it with Metroid Prime 4 Beyond was just like solidifying it as like a really, really good Nintendo Direct, because people were expecting something Metroid related was going to happen, and the fact that they were like, we have one more announcement, and then we saw Metroid Prime 4 gameplay, and it was great, so yeah, everything that this Direct had to offer was pretty much anything and everything I really wanted from it. Obviously, it had, those like little titles that people really didn't care for or whatever. But like once they like showed like the first party stuff, or even like some of those like bigger third party games, it was like, hey, we're in it. Like this is great.
Yeah, so I guess I'll start with Mario and Luigi Brothership. So holy shit. So I was like talking to my brother the night before, because I was playing Thousand Year Door. I'm like, all I really need is Mario and Luigi. Like watch them make a new Mario and Luigi like in this Direct. Like that won't fucking happen. It was literally the first thing they showed, and I like lost my mind. It's definitely my favorite out of the Mario RPG series. Like I love Mario and Luigi. Superstar Saga I fell in love with. Bowser's Nice Story I think is like just a great RPG to begin with. And even Dream Team, I like Dream Team. Like I think Dream Team was a good time. But then after that I kind of fell off, like Paper Jam was whatever. The two remakes didn't feel too necessary, especially the Bowser's Nice Story remake. Then Alpha Dream died. So my hopes for a new Mario and Luigi game are very low, just because like Alpha Dream is dead, which are the people that made the series. So when I saw that Luigi model, I'm like, that's the Mario and Luigi model. Like what the fuck? And then it just went on to a whole new like Mario and Luigi game. And I don't know who's making this, and we won't probably know for a long time, because Nintendo likes to do that. But just seeing the gameplay of it looks great. Like the combat like animations look so great. Like they feel so expressive. The game looks wacky and fun. Just everything I would expect from a Mario and Luigi game back in this game. Now I'm just hoping the story is good, and the game has good pacing, because Dream Team kind of had pretty bad pacing, and we'll be good. I mean, I'm buying it regardless. Like, I love Mario and Luigi, so I am so down for a new one. I think it looks great. I'm just very excited for this. It's like never skipped a beat. That's why I'm really wondering who's making this, because if it's not Alpha Team, then whoever's making this really replicated their style really well. So yeah, really excited for this. Like I'm really excited.
Yeah, I mean, I was just talking about Metroid Prime 4, but Mario and Luigi Brothership is probably my favorite announcement from this direct, and they started off with it. Just because, like you said, I think I also really like this series a lot. When you showed me, or when Bowser's Inside Story came out, and you were like, yeah, buy it. And I was like, all right, fine, I'll buy it. And I fucking fell in love with it. I did try Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga before then. It was a little too old for my kid taste, if you will. I definitely have to go back to it and try it again. But, just seeing this Mario and Luigi game, the first ever console Mario and Luigi game be shown here, it's like, this is great. And whether the gameplay and sort of how it goes is good or not, we can at least appreciate the fucking art style. The game just has so much sauce. It just looks so goddamn good with the way it's animated, how expressive the characters are, especially Luigi. Obviously, he's sort of like the star within this trailer in terms of like how it opens up and everything. No matter what adventures Mario and Luigi go on with these new characters or whatever, it's going to be a blast. I cannot wait to see what this adventure actually has in store for us for another Mario and Luigi game that is so expressive and so stylized as this one. And yeah, this is definitely my most anticipated game of this direct in particular. And we only have to wait until November 7th, very early within November. Starting off November with a bang, killing my wallet already. But yeah, I'm fucking excited for this one.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for pre-orders. Like it still hasn't shown up anywhere yet. Like I've been checking every day. I'm like, where the fuck is it? I want to buy it. So yeah.
Next game, just quickly, a update to Nintendo Switch Sports, which I actually have played. They are now adding basketball. People are very much disappointed with Nintendo Switch Sports as a game as is, just because, when you go from Wii Sports Resort to this, it's like there's not as much content here. It sort of sauce, feels, a lot of sauce is lost here. It doesn't feel as expressive or as it doesn't have a identity like Wii Sports Resort did with Woohoo Island or whatever. I just watched Peanut Butter Gamer. He did like a video on his second channel of like games I regret buying, and I think he closed the video with this game. So now it has basketball. So if you want to play basketball on Nintendo Switch Sports, you can now go for it. I think, if you want to play Nintendo's Wii Sports or whatever on your Switch, this is pretty much the game to go for, just because the other Wii Sports games are kind of expensive. And on top of that, you got to dig out your Wii. So, it's definitely a lot easier, a lot more convenient to just play this game. And especially since it's basketball, just another fan favorite sport from the Wii Sports Resort era.
Yeah, apparently that game sold really well, which is probably why they're still updating it like a year later or whatever. So yeah, I didn't know how well it sold. Apparently it sold very well. I didn't bother. So next we have the Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. So Donkey Kong returns again. So yeah, this looks like a pretty basic port. If you haven't played Donkey Kong Country Returns, play it. It's very good. I played it back on the Wii, and I basically did everything in that game, and I loved it. Apparently, this is adding the 3DS levels as well, which I think I also have. I just didn't really play it on 3DS because I didn't want to, even though I bought it. So yeah, it comes with the 3DS levels as well. It doesn't really add much more than that, and it's probably going to be $60. So I feel like I'm probably going to buy it just to have it, but like I won't probably won't buy it immediately after when it comes out. Same thing with Luigi's Mansion. Like I actually want to get Luigi's Mansion 2, but there's just so many games that I'm like I have to save money. So I'm probably gonna hold off on that game for a little bit. Since both of those games are kind of just basic ports, like if you play the original, you've played this. But again, it's great for people to have it because Donkey Kong Country Returns is really good. Like I have yet to like complete Tropical Freeze yet, just because I haven't had the time to. Even though I have the Switch version, but if you like that game, definitely play this game. It's just as good. Maybe a little not as great as Tropical Freeze because, that game is a sequel, so it's obviously going to add more. But again, Country Returns is really good. Play it if you haven't.
Yes, I have a lot of bad memories of playing this game just because of how fucking hard it was. Yeah,
it's very hard.
Especially when we were younger, it's like, well, shit, like, what are we going to do? I would just continue to try to play this game on my Wii remote and try to shake my way to victory or whatever. But yeah, I feel like that this is definitely the definitive version of this game. Hopefully we don't fucking see this game again, because now it's on Wii, it's on 3DS, it's on Nintendo Switch. Like, it's pretty much on everything. Like, any Nintendo console that you wanted to play it on between the Wii to now, it's like available. Even though it wasn't on the Wii U, you can still play Wii games on there. But yeah, you know, this is gonna be the definitive version to play it on, and it's gonna be great. I might pick it up. I don't know. You know, it'd probably be a lot better to play it on a Switch with an actual controller compared to back in the day with the Wii Motion controls and everything like that. But yeah, very, very exciting, especially if you haven't played that game yet. The next game, I don't know shit about fucking Dragon Quest.
I can talk about it. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, but I just want to say the box art goes fucking hard. The box art for this game is like so crazy. When I saw that, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm buying this game. You know, I didn't even see gameplay for it because I didn't see it during the direct. But once I saw that box art, I was like, okay, this shit goes crazy. Like, I have to buy this. But after seeing gameplay, it looks very, very good.
Yeah, so yeah, basically this is a remake of Dragon Quest 3, which is Japan's favorite Dragon Quest. You know, this has a very big significance over there. I don't really know why. I think it's just like the best one to them. So they decided to remake it, and they also are remaking 1 and 2. So the way this sort of series works is like 3 was a prequel to 1 and 2. So they're releasing 3 first because it's the more popular one. But then they're like, we can do 1 and 2 as well because it's like a trilogy of games. Even though the guy, you know, the main Dragon Quest guy is just like, don't worry, like you could play 3 first, then play 1 and 2 next year. Like, you know, like buy this game, all right? It's fine. And yeah, the game looks great. Obviously, it's a HD 2D remake, so it's doing the Octopath thing where it's sprites but in 3D environments, and it looks great. Like, some of the pixel art looks really good. Like, a lot of the animations look great. The spell effects, like, you know, I've only really played Dragon Quest 11, and that game was great. But you know, I've been more into Final Fantasy and stuff like that. Like, I haven't really dipped my toes too much in Dragon Quest just yet. But I definitely think I'm going to start now, even though it comes out a week after Mario and Luigi. So I'm going to buy it, but I'm probably going to hold off on it. But yeah, it looks great. Like, I am very much looking forward to it. I don't know if I'll play it on. I think it's on PlayStation. I might just buy it on PlayStation.
Yeah,
but,
it's on PS5, Xbox, Switch,
PC.
So.
Yeah, so yeah. I think it's on everything. But yeah, the game looks great. Like, very much looking forward to it. Hopefully this can make me more of a Dragon Quest fan. Like, I really like Dragon Quest 11 a lot. I just haven't had the urge to really play more than that. So hopefully this can make me more invested into the series as a whole. Because you know, with Toriyama's artwork is still always going to be like legendary, even with this game series. So I'm sure they want to make special attention to it in this game just because, you know, of his passing this year. It was this year already, right? Jeez.
Yes.
Yeah. Crazy year. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm honestly happy that during the direct he was like, you guys can start with this one, because I was kind of daunted. I was like, Dragon Quest 3, and then he was like, no, you can start here because it's like where it all starts. I was like, all right, cool. Yeah. So yeah.
Anyway, most Dragon Quest games are separate. It's like Final Fantasy where like they're just in number. So it's like, you could play Dragon Quest 5. Like, you don't need to play any other ones. Same with Final Fantasy. Yeah. Like, you could play 16. You don't need to play the other 16 to understand it. So yeah.
Okay. Understood. I guess I'll talk about the Switch Online games. These are probably going to be the last games that we are ever going to see that are featured within a direct. If they ever want to drop anymore, it's probably going to be within a tweet of some sort. So we got on the Game Boy Advance, we got Zelda 4 Swords. I believe it's also A Link to the Past. And then Metroid Zero Mission. Awesome. Great. Alluding to Metroid Prime 4 later. And then N64, part of the mature M-rated series. We got Turok and also Perfect Dark. Very surprising that they got that game on there as well. But yeah, I mean, Switch Online, I think, is a very great service. Even though I haven't used it personally, I think it just gives people the opportunity to try out older games, whether they want to, see where a game franchise started, or if they're just bored and just want to try a game out, for whatever reason. There's no paywall to it other than the fact that you probably already have Switch Online, right? So you might as well just like try these games out if you have like an hour or so to spare.
Yeah, I think they've been getting a lot better. I wish they added more games more frequently. And the same thing with PlayStation, where it was just like, don't add a lot of games very frequently. Like, they're starting to change that now with Sly and Daxter, but Nintendo's also like drip feeds like how much games they put, like good games anyway. There's a lot of like games like I don't give a shit about. But Zero Mission, fucking great. That's a great game. Having 4 swords there and being able to play online with other people is really great. That's so novel. Like, back in the day, I don't think I owned it, but I had the GameCube version, and there was a lot of times I'm like, oh man, I wish I had the Game Boy versions because you could like do shit or whatever. But playing the Game Boy version of it is pretty cool as well, and being able to play on. Same with Kirby's Amazing Mirror, you were able to play it online as well, and I think that's just really funny. And, I've been meaning to play more of that service. I haven't used it too much just because I don't have the time, because I'd rather play like newer games. But I really have been meaning to play Zelda, Oracle of Seasons and Ages, because I haven't played those, and Minish Cap. Like I've been really meaning to play those a lot because I haven't on this service. Same thing with some Fire Emblems that are there as well, like some of the older Game Boy Advance ones. But yeah, it's honestly a great service. Some of the emulation's kind of iffy. Like I've been hearing the Perfect Dark one is actually like awful.
Oh no.
Yeah, like the bullets like look bad, and there's like a gimmick where your head spinning, but like the whole game just fucks up in the emulation. Like, it just looks bad. So hopefully they can fix that. But yeah, it hasn't been great with the N64 stuff on there, just because it's like harder to emulate, I guess. But still good to like have those games on there, and hopefully they can fix them up and add Conquer. That would be really funny. All right, so next is I don't know if you knew how much of a big deal this was, because I didn't. Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. So the first thought in my brain was like, oh yeah, the last time was like during the 360 days. 'Cause I remember playing it on Xbox Arcade, like Xbox Live Arcade, but I didn't really connect in my brain like how much people were really waiting, because I'm like, that was a long ass time ago. That was like I don't even remember how long ago, 2008 or some shit. I don't know, it's been a long time. But a lot of people, diehard fans of Marvel vs. Capcom, haven't had a good port of this game for that long. Like, yeah, you could have emulated it and stuff, but people want it on actual like hardware and stuff. Like people want physical copies. People want all this stuff, and I think Capcom went above and beyond by adding this, adding all like a bunch of other shit they did with Marvel versus with Marvel and Capcom related stuff. There's a lot of new artwork. They added a lot of bonus characters. Like it seems like this collection was really levelly crafted for those Marvel vs. Capcom fans. There's rollback netcode. There's a training mode with hitboxes and shit. Like they really did their homework to make sure that this collection would be the best version of Marvel vs. Capcom 2. There's no crossplay apparently. Like you have to if you're playing on PC, you can play with PC people. Stuff like that, which is kind of lame. I guess I just couldn't get it to work on like this emulation they're using. But I'm really happy. People that were looking forward to more Marvel vs. Capcom are getting it. Like I want to get it, but I believe it's coming out like September. Oh no, it's just coming out. It's just 2024. This year's so packed, but I definitely want to show support, because I would like a new Marvel vs. Capcom that's not like shit like Infinite was. That would be nice. Because I like Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Like I played that back in the day. I thought it was fun. So hopefully the series could come back. I know it's more held back because of like copyright issues and stuff, and like who owns whatever. But the MCU, well, it's not as big as it used to be, because we're kind of never in the MCU. But it's still like Marvel's as popular as ever, and just do something cool with it.
Yeah, I mean, just seeing all of the fighting game community just freak the fuck out when this announcement happened during the direct, especially Maximilian, was just like so
Max
funny.
Dude's reaction was very funny.
Yeah, so Marvel vs. Capcom. This is a series that is very notorious within the fighting game community, just because it is a very good fighting game. But on top of that, it is just one that has been locked up behind old hardware for years and years and years. It was on Xbox 360 and PS3, but then those got obviously taken down. So the fact that now we have a collection that features MVC 1 and 2, and on top of that, you can get a physical version of the game. Okay, yeah, now people can actually afford to actually buy these games and play it on modern systems as well. If you look up Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on the PS2, it's still going for like $100+. It is like actually crazy and ridiculous how much that game by itself goes for. So the fact that this collection is coming out for $50, digitally and physically, it's awesome. So I'm very excited to actually own these games for once in my goddamn life, because I've always wanted to try these games out, especially since because they are very much just like good fighting games in general, and like you said, they are putting a lot of effort into just making these games accessible and good. And the hitboxes and like the training mode was like so crazy to me. I was like, yo, what the fuck? Like they're actually like going all in with this collection. So yeah, whenever it comes out within 2024, I'm sure it's going to deliver, and I hope that fans are actually happy with the product that Capcom is able to deliver.
Yep. Yeah. Hopefully the online is actually good, so people can actually like play it. Because if it's bad, then that kind of sucks.
Yeah, because I think online play is definitely like the biggest component that this collection is going to offer to keep it going for years and years to come. Next thing we got here is Super Mario Jamboree. So this is sort of like a mashup of Super Mario Party and then also Mario Party Superstars. So there's 5 new boards with 2 returning, and then there's over 100 mini games. So this is pretty much going to be like the ultimate Mario Party game that I think people have been wanting for a while now. And I'm kind of buying into the hype of it. I'm not going to lie. I love the Mario Party series. Whenever we have friends together, it's always fun to just play it, even though if some of us get pissed off and get fucked over, like that's the fun of Mario Party, right? And Super Mario Party or Mario Party Superstars had online play, and it was actually pretty goddamn good. Like it actually functioned rather well. So I'm not sure if that one's gonna have the same online play as this one, but I know that there's like a 20-man mode like battle royale mini game thing that you could do. So that's gonna be pretty fun and pretty cool. The new boards actually look interesting. Like they actually have like different themes. There's multiple different pathways. It's not like Super Mario Party where it was just like a linear like board, just like a square pretty much, just like done differently. This one is actually like a board with different themes, different gimmicks. I think the race car one's obviously like pretty cool because fucking Mario Kart. But yeah, I'm excited for it. It's coming out October 17th, which is very, very soon. So yeah, one last Mario Party for the Nintendo Switch is going to be great.
Yeah, like unironically, Superstars was fucking amazing. Like that was like, wow, Mario Party could be good again. Like, yeah, I feel like it's been so long since we played a very good Mario, because Super Mario Party was almost there. But I really didn't like the character like dice thing. Like I thought that was kind of weird. The boards were really small and not that interesting. There was still a lot wrong with that game, but it was like a step in the right direction. Mario Party Superstars was just great. Like the online worked well. It was just classic boards. The characters were just the characters. It was great. Like I loved Superstars. I thought it was really good. And this game is looking like it's kind of capturing, having new boards that are actually interesting by having 2 returning, a bunch of mini games. Hopefully none of that character shit is in this game. I don't think so, else they would have mentioned it by now. That 20 like man battle royale mode looks kind of fun. I'm very excited for this. I hope it's good. I hope the new boards are fun. I hope they just kind of keep it just core Mario Party. Like let me just roll the dice, play the game, have good online as well, because I think Superstars did that pretty well. And we're golden, dude. Like that would be sick. So because Superstars was such a good time. So I hope they could recreate that into this game, into a newer game. So yeah. All right, so next is another big surprise that came out right after that game was Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. So, this game kind of plays out like, you think it's going to be like a new Link game where it's like maybe like a remake of the Oracle games or something. And then, Link gets sucked into the black void. He cracks Zelda's crystal, and then she is the playable character this time. So this is the first time we're getting a proper Zelda game, not counting the CDI games, because I know people are going to bring that up. Actual proper Zelda game. She's not she's not a damsel in distress. She's not like your little follower, like in Spirit Tracks or Phantom Hourglass. I mean, like she is. No, I think it was Spirit Tracks. Whatever. Either way, you can actually fucking play as her, which is really cool. And it seems like the game is not gonna be just it's Zelda, but you're
with
playing
a sword.
2D. Yeah, with a sword, right? Like I first I thought it was just gonna be a normal 2D Zelda game, but you use magic. So I thought she was gonna use like fire, wind, and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, that's probably what they're gonna go for. That's pretty cool. But no, they definitely did not do that. So this game is gonna have echoes. So it's kind of taking the gameplay philosophy of something like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, where the game wants you to have a lot of player freedom and kind of solve a lot of issues by yourself and sort of figure out what's the best way you could do things, or just do it your own way. So basically, Zelda would get the tri-rod, and she's able to scan certain items, and then she's able to make copies of it. So you're able to like copy boxes and tables and like beds and shit, but you can also get like more interesting stuff like water blocks, so you can kind of make like in Minecraft when you make like a bunch of water up top and you kind of swim up top. You could copy enemies after you kill them, so you could sort of summon them to attack other minions, and then you could do other crazy stuff with those enemies. It looks very interesting. It looks very Breath of the Wild meets 2D Zelda with the amount of player freedom in this game. And I know some people are a little iffy on it because people just want a traditional Zelda game, because we've had a lot of Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom are very different from the typical Zelda stuff, but I think this is a cool way to do things. We're getting a 2D Zelda game with actual Zelda, and it plays, more like Tears of the Kingdom, where you have a lot more player expression and freedom. And I think that could lead to some pretty interesting, like, level design and stuff. I'm gonna have to see how it comes out, but I think it's gonna be pretty good. I'm really excited for this. I like the art style of Link's Awakening remake. I still haven't played it. I actually really want to play it before this game comes out because I love Link's Awakening and still haven't played the remake, even though I have it. So I really should get on that. But yeah, I think the game looks really cool. I think it's really cool how they're innovating on the 2D Zelda, because they could just made a 2D Zelda and people would have been fine with it. But no, they really went to innovate this formula of Zelda as well. And I think it looks pretty good. And obviously playing as Zelda is a nice little twist as well. So yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, I mean, as a person who prefers 2D Zelda games over the 3D ones, just because my brain just works like that, I just like the way that Zelda is within the 2D games a lot more. A Link Between Worlds on the 3DS is still like my favorite Zelda game by far.
Yeah, it's really good.
But, with the Link's Awakening remake on the Switch, I did try to play that one, but I think I was still busy with school or whatever, so I didn't necessarily get to fully experience that one. But I liked what I played. So for this one to be like a what if scenario where like Zelda is now like the main character and she does like these weird things with this tri-rod, and she's able to clone objects, but also clone enemies and clone water blocks and all this other stuff. I think that that's a lot of fun. I think it'll make people who really do like Tears of the Kingdom and that sort of creativity of the Legend of Zelda games have fun with this one within a 2D environment. And the fact that this is the first time that Zelda has ever been playable is also icing on the cake. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this. I think that there's still a lot of room and a lot of potential for the Legend of Zelda series. Obviously, I would have liked a traditional brand new 2D Zelda game with Link, or whatever. But I think that them going for this direction and sort of bringing in other elements from the Legend of Zelda series as well, like you'll notice certain characters in there that I can't name on the top of my head, but I've noticed them from other Zelda games.
Yeah.
I think that this is going to be a great game that really does also celebrate the Legend of Zelda series as a whole within this 2D environment.
Yeah, that's some like Majora's Mask stuff. That's some Ocarina of Time stuff going on there with some of the NPCs, like the Deku shrubs were from Majora's Mask, so that was cool to see. But yeah, I guess we'll see when the game comes out. It comes out very soon, September 26th. So coming out like instantly. This is why I love Nintendo, by the way. I feel like obviously some of their games get delayed indefinitely, like like Metroid Prime or Zelda, like they take a while to come out. But for a lot of their other games, they're just like, oh yeah, we're announcing it's coming out like in like 2 months, like good luck. Like I think that's great because it gives you enough time to be hype and be excited for the game, but the game's actually gonna fucking come out, which is great. I feel like a lot of games kind of struggle with that nowadays. So yeah, definitely looking forward to this game.
And one last announcement before we talk about Metroid is Ace Attorney Investigations Collection. It seems like that they are just pumping these out over and over again, which is great because I think that to those people that want to get back into the Ace Attorney series or play for the first time, re-releasing it on modern consoles or just the Nintendo Switch in general, I think is a great way to do it. I'm not entirely sure what these games are. I think that these are like spin-off games that they are putting within this collection. So, they have brand new 2D art, but they could also allow you to go back into the pixel art style if that is what you prefer. So yeah, very, very, very cool. And, definitely need to get into the series. So I bought the first Ace Attorney collection earlier this year or something like that for like $5. So
yeah, I really need to play these games as well. Yeah, these are spin-offs with his like rival guy, Edgeworth, I think his name, or something like that. Sorry if I'm butchering, if I'm not saying it right. But I think the big deal with this game is Investigations 2 never came out here. It was only in Japan. So like I think it was like people could play fan translations, but it never officially came out here. So this is the first time that people will be able to officially play Investigations 2 properly translated and stuff, which is really cool. So happy for Ace Attorney fans. I think this is the last collection too before they actually have to make new games now. So Capcom is like, come on Capcom, now you gotta make a new one now. So I think they've re-released every single one they could. So I think the only one they haven't re-released was like Phoenix Wright and the Professor Layton one, but that's about it.
Yeah,
I think every other game they've done. So yeah, make a new one now, Capcom. Same thing with Mega Man. Do a new Mega Man game. All right, so lastly, this is something I did predict that would happen this direct was Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. So it's real. It's finally coming out next year. They showed gameplay. It looks beautiful. It looks great. I think Metroid Prime Remaster did a lot to really show what Metroid Prime 4 was going to look like, because Metroid Prime Remaster looked basically like this. Like, it looked just as good, and I'm very excited to see what they do with Metroid Prime 4. And it looks like they're doing the same thing. Like, the game looks fucking great. Like, the same graphic style, the game is running great. We didn't really see anything super new in this trailer yet. It's the standard, she got her gun, shooting, missile scanning, the things you expect from a Metroid Prime game. We see I forgot his name, Silex or whatever from Metroid Prime Hunters is the main villain in this one. And, I'm sure the next trailer, I saw some people that were both obviously excited because this game exists again, like people could actually talk about it, but also saw some people being a little disappointed because, that was it. Like, that's all they showed. And, I think they just kind of want to show that the game is happening. I'm sure there's going to be a dedicated, big overview trailer that goes through all the things next year. Because, usually with these Metroid Prime games or any Nintendo game, it's like a gimmick that makes the game different. Metroid Prime 2 had the light and dark shit. Metroid Prime 3 had the corruption gimmick. And then this game is probably going to have something that changes up the gameplay as well. So I'm sure there's going to be something that really differentiates it from like the rest of the pack. But, just seeing it be a thing is great. And I'm very happy that it's like alive and well. And the game looks great. Hopefully Retro cooks once again. Because, I'm very excited for it. And I also hope they port Metroid Prime 2 and 3 so I can actually play them, because I still never actually played them. Like, I love Metroid Prime 1. I thought Prime 1 was amazing. So hopefully 2 and 3 get remastered or just ported as well, because I would like to play them before 4. But
yeah, Metroid Prime 4, just adding the showcase like this is like a banger. Like, this is just like the best way to do it. And the fact that we got, some visuals and also some gameplay of it is even better. As someone who has never finished a Metroid game at all, just seeing this gameplay was good enough for me to be like, like Metroid Prime 4 is gonna cook, because the music, the sound effects, like the atmosphere, just like the vibe of this trailer was like everything. Even though I was watching it at work on like 160p, I didn't give a fuck. Like, I was in it. I just really liked what they showed within this trailer, and I think that fans should rightfully be fucking excited for this game. And 2025, still a year away, but I think that is still fine, just because we've already waited like 7 years for this shit or whatever. So, it's like whatever at this point. And, people were, I guess, still theorizing that this game's going to be like a Switch 2, crossover game, because, 2025 is sort of like when maybe the Switch 2 will come out. Who knows? Which I think it will happen. I think that this will be like a sort of like a cross-gen game, just like with Breath of the Wild was. Just with Metroid. So I think that is going to be exciting, going to be very, very cool. I wonder what enhancements that version may have or may not have. Who knows? I don't fucking know. I'm just speculating at this point. But yeah, excited to see that this game is actually coming out, and hopefully them rehashing and redoing everything was worth it.
Yeah, I hope so too. I'm just happy the game exists and we could play it very soon. So that's something we can say throughout the whole Switch lifespan. So... yeah.
All right. So now let's get into Star Wars The Acolyte. We've talked about a shit ton on video games. Now let's talk about some other nerdy shit with Star Wars. So we're going to do full spoilers. If you guys don't know, Star Wars The Acolyte now has episode 3 and 4 out. So if you haven't watched those yet, go watch them. Or if you don't give a shit about spoilers, continue listening to us talk about it poorly. Anyways, so episode 3, this was the first episode that they released weekly after I believe it was the 2-episode premiere that they did. So now we get a fresh new episode, and it was a backstory episode. And I think it was actually done pretty well, because, there was obviously a lot of stuff within this sort of timeline within Star Wars that we don't know about within these characters. So giving us this backstory episode where we get to see Osha and May as kids, and sort of like what it was like for them to be, I guess, witches in this
Night
part
Sisters,
of so
whatever.
For them to be like that, and then like the Jedi come in and be like, we want to train your children, and just take them away, and it's like, oh yeah, the Jedi are bad guys, huh? So and you get to see the events that led up to Osha and May's sort of fallout, and sort of their pretty much everyone fucking dying there. So yeah, I think that the episode was really well done, really well directed, and really had a good idea in terms of what it wanted to show the viewers. Even though like the whole episode was a backstory episode, I think that was needed, especially for these characters and the depth that they had.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fine to have like a backstory episode, especially when their relationship as sisters is kind of like the main focal point of this series. Even though I don't think that now again, at first I'm like, oh yeah, they're sisters, but then like they said weird stuff. It's like, no, like I made you. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Like, are they one person? Are they doing a Moon Knight? I'm still like, that's what I thought when the series first began, and then I'm like, no, they're clearly two separate people. But now I'm like, are they though? So that's interesting. Obviously that's gonna be resolved, as the series continues. But I do like them going through more of the I guess like other Force users, I guess, like, Night Sisters or whatever is like a big thing that the expanded media really likes to talk about and stuff. And they get more into that with this as well. And also with Jedi being more of like assholes, because, it makes sense because, they're sort of like the predominant peacekeeping force in the galaxy during this time. So, obviously that's not always going to equal everyone is happy with them, right? Like they're going to abuse their power, or they're going to like, oh, like we're better than you guys, so we could just take things and stuff. So, I think other stuff has done that good as well. Like I think the Knights of the Old Republic MMO, playing as a Jedi, you could see that sort of side of the Jedi Order as well, being more like controlling and like just assholes about everything, since Jedi are really fanatical in general, even though they're more like, oh, we use the light side of the Force, even though, they can still be dickheads about it. So, I thought this episode did a good job kind of explaining all the backstory stuff and their culture and like how all the events transpire to where we are now. So I think an episode like this was needed. I know some people were making fun of like little chants at the end or towards the middle. So, it's whatever. So
then I guess we'll talk about episode 4, which was obviously sort of going into them trying to find May and sort of like what the fuck's going on here. Some people are theorizing that the main bad guy is the Asian dude that's been following her around this whole time, just like watching her closely or whatever, which is like a decent theory, but I feel like it's someone else completely different. Who knows? The episode does end off with them going into battle, which was, a little bit of a tease, if you will. But I think that this episode, once again, very, very good. The actor that is playing both of these characters, Osha and May, they both have very distinct performances. Even though she is playing, two different characters, or it's the same actor playing two different characters, she has very different dialect and very different way of portraying them, which I think is great, because obviously like Osha is very much like she was with the Jedi and she was sheltered and she wasn't necessarily jaded towards them. Meanwhile, May is very much like, I guess, more strong-headed and very much like, I don't give a fuck, like fuck off, like let me just do my thing, and like she's just trying to get done what she feels like needs to get done.
Yeah, again, it's kind of like Oscar Isaac when he played Moon Knight. I keep bringing up Moon Knight just because it reminds me of it. Just like he did a great job playing as like two completely different characters, where like they really did feel like two distinct characters, even though it was like the same guy. So it's kind of the same way here, where it's like, yeah, she's playing like two different characters, but like same actor or actress. Like it just feels really distinct from each other, and I think that's really cool. I think this always be like commended to be like, yeah, that's really cool to do. But yeah. Besides that, it was more just like, they were like in the forest and shit doing stuff. Like, I kind of zoned out a bit during this one. I feel like the last one I was more locked in. This one I was just kind of like, okay, like I feel like they really tease you at the end. It's like, oh, here's the big fucking fight, and then it fucking ends. I'm like, okay. So but I think this was the episode that brought up the line where it's like, you're like a weapon, or I made you, or was that the last one? I don't fucking know. Either way, that's such a weird line where I'm like, I don't know what that means. So I'm really interested to see what May and Osha's thing is. Like there has to be some weird shit happening. Like now I doubt myself if they actually are two people, or if they are like one person and some weird force shit is making them two people or something. Because they were witches, so like it wouldn't be too far out there to be like maybe they did some weird shit to split them or something, and one is like more dark side attuned and one's more light side attuned or something. I don't know. I just like game theory shit. I don't fucking know, but it's pretty interesting to think about. And I'm really excited for the next episode because this guy is like 1v like 6ing people, so I want to see how that turns out. And we still haven't seen the lightsaber whip, which was like advertised, and I want to see the lightsaber whip. So yeah, let me see that shit. So but yeah, it was a decent episode. I think it's more just like build up for the next episode. So yeah, I mean, there's still like a lot of stuff that we don't know about. Like, why was the Jedi there? Did they have they obviously had the intention of recruiting Osha and May, but exactly why? That's why I think they know they're like not ordinary, right? Like they know they have some weird force. They're like a weird force weapon or some shit. like, so it's like, oh, we can make like the perfect Jedi with this, like with these two. So I think that's why they even went to that planet to begin with, because like they had to know something was there. Like, why would they just be there randomly, right? So yeah, even I think their mother brought that up. It's like, oh, like Jedi don't make mistakes like that. So like you definitely know why you're here. So I think that's pretty interesting to see, and how that mystery is going to get uncovered in the next few episodes. So yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of conflicts going on. I low key thought that Osha was gonna die when she was in front of that mystery Sith character. I was like, oh, shit, something's gonna happen. But then he just like pushed her away. Then cuts to black. So yeah, definitely still stuff unraveling here. I think that Soul as a character is still great.
Yeah.
We obviously still don't know a lot about like what's going on here with the Jedi, so hopefully that is solved within or at least answered to us within the next 2 episodes. I think there's 8, I forget exactly, but we're fucking tired. We're talking for hours and hours at this point. So, but yeah, so far so good with the Acolyte. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Damian?
No, that's everything.
All right, so thank you guys for listening to the Travis and Damian podcast, episode 140. We will see you guys 2 weeks from now with another episode.
Later.